Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
Well, how about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 298 of How About That Cigar Live.
298.
298. It's crazy.
Wow.
Almost there. Almost at 300.
What? All right.
Thanks for joining us live in the Corona Cigar Studios. And if you would please take just a minute, click on all of the big, beautiful buttons. The like button, the follow button, the subscribe button so you don't miss anything that we have going on at How About That Cigar Live. And if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, guys, thanks so much for making How About That Cigar part of your regular audio podcast rotation. We appreciate it so much. Be sure to share us out right now with your favorite Facebook cigar groups. Let everybody know we're live. Join us in the comments. Let us know what you're smoking. Let us know what you're drinking.
So you kind of touch, it's 298.
298.
So 300 is right around the corner.
It is right around the corner. You know who else is right around the corner?
Justy Smoke.
Our fantastic producer.
He is.
Justy Smoke. Brother.
Right around the corner in the fields.
In the fields of Nicaragua.
Yeah.
You're actually standing in front of that field in Nicaragua right now. You're not.
I am absolutely
6 feet to our left.
Absolutely.
Right. No.
In the field.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I believe it and it became a thing.
Totally legit. Totally.
I believe
legit.
it will happen. If you build it,
if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
So yeah, 298.
298. What's going to happen for 300?
I think you should make the big announcement right now.
To all our fans, to all our viewers, we are going to have episode 300 in Minnesota at a local shop, Perfect Ash in Inver Grove Heights, who happens to be the only dealer of Steve Saka and Dunbarton tobacco in Minnesota.
That's right.
So we're going to be down there. We hope all our fans and our viewers, well, our viewers are fans, our fans are our viewers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We want
all of you guys,
all the local
come
folks,
on down,
yeah.
Support us. That's a big number, 300.
And we're just
huge for you.
We're just going to have a big herf. It's just going to be a fun herf. And we're going to hang out at Perfect Ash and we're going to smoke some good cigars and have some good conversations and just kind of talk through, the first 299 episodes.
And if you're in the crowd, don't be surprised if we say, hey, come take a seat in the middle here. Let's ask you some questions.
Exactly.
And maybe ask you what your favorite episode is. Maybe ask you who the best looking, How About That Cigar co-host has ever been. Stuff like that.
So that's going to be on Monday night, September 8th.
8th.
At Perfect Ash Cigar Lounge in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota. And many thanks to Patrick for hosting us at the shop there.
You can't just say Patrick. You got to say his whole name.
Patrick O'Brien.
Patrick O'Brien.
Got to put the Irish accent on there.
You got to. He's a little guy.
So just briefly, neither one of us want to talk about baseball, although you do want to talk about baseball because the Yankees are beating up on the Twins right now.
Great. That's like picking on somebody on a short bus. Fucking playing a AAA team. That's bullshit.
Yeah, you're not far off. You're not far off. The Yankees are 6.5 games back in their division, and the Twins are only 11 games back in our division.
It's not just the Yankees. The Mets have had a meltdown too.
Yep. Basically, it's. I mean, the Brewers are out of their minds right now.
Yeah.
The Milwaukee Brewers. If you're a Brewers fan, kudos to you.
Oh, look at
because
it's just as you say
there's
that.
Brugger. Yeah. The Brewers are playing out of their minds right now. God bless them as far as I'm concerned. Good luck to you. I think what is it? 5-2, 6-2. So yeah, Yankees ahead of the Twins, 6-2 now. Our two teams faced each other in the preseason opener for the NFL. Green Bay Packers, New York Jets. The Green Bay Packers should be embarrassed.
I didn't want to pull that scab off, but yeah, and Love didn't look very good.
Nobody looked good. I got to be honest. Because Matt Brugger sent me a text. Like, are you watching this? Are you watching this game? Thank God I wasn't, because I was actually busy replacing the brakes on my daughter's car. So I was like, man, I'm glad I've got wrenches in my hand working on these brakes instead of watching. Because after I went back and I watched the highlights or the lowlights, it was terrible.
That's funny. Matt didn't text me. He texted me before the game how Green Bay was going to whoop up on the Jets, and during the game he didn't text me at all.
Oh, interesting.
At all.
Interesting how that.
But did I rub it in his face? Did I rub it right in there?
No,
I didn't.
But you are right now. But that's okay. It's all right. It's football. It's okay. Catching is optional. Yeah. Holding on to the football when you're on offense. Apparently that's
a thing, right?
I mean, last I checked.
Okay.
Yeah, in football, last I checked is actually keeping your hands on the football is a positive.
Hopefully,
what the hell do I know?
Hopefully, you guys get third place in the division.
It's shaping up to be that way. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, let's jump into this week's
notable
Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by.
I'm just
you're way ahead of the game. Spirit of Mystery, brought to us by Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry. So we talked before.
It smells like shit.
We went live.
Like gasoline
and
mixed with poop.
This is the last one of those little samplers, right?
I'm sorry, that one smells really bad.
So as soon Raul poured it in the glass, handed the glass to me, and I smelled it, and I said, "This smells like what was it?"
Yeah, Coop, I got you, brother.
It smells terrible. It smells like
bad. It smells like really cheap whiskey.
Is that like that Munda stuff?
Yeah,
you like to eat?
Yeah, it's like rotten yogurt and piss is what this smells like. So I'm not honestly looking forward to this. And if it's bad, all right, here goes. Please pray for me.
Thomas, you're right. His statue has no ass, just like he does. He doesn't have one. Tom Brady's statue is terrible, just like that.
Why are you looking at his ass?
Oh,
why he brought that up?
I know.
Who's looking at the ass on Tom Brady's statue?
Apparently
you have to look at the whole thing.
Do you?
Paid a lot of money to.
Do you though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This whiskey is terrible.
Did you see the statue that's a little bigger and behind Brady?
Yeah, Eli
his
Manning.
Daddy.
I love that. That was so great. Yeah, this whiskey's terrible. So
well, this is not.
You're drinking hop water, right?
Hops water.
Yeah.
Fulton, Minnesota.
I'm
Slam
not.
it. Slam. Chug.
In a little bit, I will, and then pour something good. But I'm not gonna endure this through the whole show. But regardless, we will reveal later on in the show what is in the glass for Spirit of Mystery.
So
let's get our special guest on the show without further ado. And special guest on How About That Cigar Live, brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And Drew Estate, once again, is rewriting cigar rules with the launch of its latest Freestyle Live event pack, including a brand new mystery cigar that's 100% unapologetically Nicaraguan. With an MSRP of $40.75, the FSL pack includes 3 premium mystery cigars and a 40-ounce custom branded tumbler. Available in limited quantities, the Freestyle Live event packs will land at select premium cigar retailers nationwide. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and help us out. Welcome back to How About That Cigar Live from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, Mr. Steve Saka. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Not special enough to warrant episode 300. No, episode 298.
298. Yeah, it's
not even 299, not 301, but just a regular old 298. All right, I'll take it. By the way, November 21st of 1996. Does anyone know the importance of that date? November 21st of 1996.
November 21st, 1996.
Is that when you had hair?
Well, actually, I didn't at that point. I just had the Friar Tuck thing going on.
I'm guessing it had that date has something to do with Tom Brady.
No, it has to do with the origin of the word herf. It was
I like it.
Herf was ever used in relation to cigars, and it was in a Usenet news group by a poster named the Prince of Skeeves, of all names. And he was writing about the fact that he had spent his money on a Cuey d'Orsay, Cuban, and he couldn't get any smoke out of it. And he said it was impossible to herf. And that is where the origin of the word came from, was alt.smokers.cigars, November 21st of 1996, Prince of Skeeves. And then, of course, everyone's kind of asking, well, what does it mean to herf? And the guy replied that to herf is to draw on a cigar. And that's where the word started to get used, and we started to use it for the act of smoking, and then we eventually used it to describe when we would get together as a group and, do public get-togethers and meetups, and we called those herfs. But
Yeah.
That is the origin of the word herf. And
Thank
why
you.
I have this kind of nonsense in my head is just ridiculous.
I love that, though.
Oh, yeah.
And that actually makes me, I'm curious about something, because I know back in the day, Steve, you started, and this wasn't on the list of questions, but this is a interesting one that ties in with what you said. Back in the day, I think, was it called Cigar Nexus?
Yeah, I had me and two of my friends at a website called cigarnexus.com.
And what year, when did that start? Do you remember?
Oh, it would have started in about 1995-ish, I think.
Okay, so it was around that same time. Yeah,
it was right around that same time.
Okay. Yeah, that was really one of the earliest, as far as like information for premium cigar smokers.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a community on AOL back when it was a dial-up, but once we got access to the it wasn't even the World Wide Web at that point. It was really just Usenet, groups, which at that point was pretty much, it was everything. You had little niche group. It was kind of like how's the best way to describe it to a non-Gen Xer? It was like Reddit, but much rougher. Okay, much more Wild West, and there was niche groups for everything, a lot like Reddit. And it was just it was kind of like the precursor to what eventually became bulletin boards, which then eventually became social media.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was what was it called? Because I've been on a bunch of different ones over the years. There was one probably, I want to say about 15 years ago, that I spent a fair amount of time on.
MySpace?
Puff. No, it was specifically a forum for cigars people. It was like puff.com or something like that.
Puff.com was one.
Yeah.
Cigar Family, I don't know, that may still be around, right? That was a Fuente.
Cigar Family still around, yeah.
I mean, but there were a gazillion of them, and almost always they were the byproduct of people. Well, there were two groups. One group were people that got kicked out of ASC by the moderators, which you really had to do a lot to get kicked out, because, like I said, it was pretty much the Wild West. So you had to be beyond a dick, really. And yeah, because just normal trolling and being an asshole, that wouldn't get you kicked off from Usenet news group by any moderators.
Yeah.
And then so some of those boards got started by ex-ASC members, and then other ones were kind of done by some companies here and there, because they used the World Wide Web, right? Because that was like a pre-packaged bulletin board software. I still find sometimes old bulletin boards with when I'm looking for like car info or anything related to something's wrong with my car. You still find some of those places, but they're so archaic.
It's hard to find them now, mainly from what I understand, because they're very prone to viruses and hacks.
Oh yeah, they're full of spam and crap, and just all sorts of scams and whatnot. Plus, back then you had to pay for stuff. So the people that ran them had to, you had to pay server space, you had to pay for the amount of throughput you were using. So yeah, it's not like today where we take everything for free. I mean, we get advertised to for death, but essentially it's free.
Yeah. let's go around the horn and start with Steve. What are you smoking and drinking this evening?
I'm smoking the new Red Meat Lovers Furtanga. Never can get this camera to zoom correctly on anything. I don't even know how to make it. Maybe it's because I'm using the green screen. I don't know. Whatever. And then I'm going with an old standby, and I'm just Noah's milling it. So.
Oh, nice. Justy, what are you smoking?
Got a Mi Curita Red over here, and then along with the 1919 Classic.
Raul. Yeah, I'm switching it up. He's laughing at me because I hate this Spirit of Mystery tonight.
I am drinking a Halligan. Excuse me, I'm smoking a Halligan with Gubby Ruff going on there.
You could drink it.
Yeah, a Halligan, and I'm drinking some NA hops water.
All right, I'm smoking. Fortunately, something that I really love a lot, the Wagashi. And I just finished that really, really bad Spirit of Mystery. I can't wait to find out what it actually was later in the show.
What made it bad? What didn't you like about it?
It's really acrid, and it's medicinal and acrid, almost like Robitussin, and it's got a sour finish, which is very unusual for a bourbon.
I was going to ask bourbon, rye, but it's a bourbon.
Yeah, it is a bourbon. I mean, to the best of my, I think everything in this sampler is bourbon, correct? Yeah. So I'm gonna make up for it with a little Angel's Envy private selection.
A chaser.
Yeah, a chaser. Because I need something good on
Mr. Floyd, welcome back. You ain't been here in a couple weeks, buddy. We miss you.
Good to see you, brother.
Nice to see you back.
So Steve, give us
you too.
Give us a little bit of lowdown. How's 2025 going so far?
Kind of sucky.
We were talking a little bit before we went live that there's just struggles with business wise. Is it tobacco availability, tariffs, pricing?
Costs continue to escalate all through 2024. They seem to have kind of peaked, right? We haven't been seeing as much cost increases, but of course, just in time for us to get the double dose of tariff increases. So that ends up jacking up the prices 2 more times. Of course, I haven't done the second tariff increase. I just need a break for just a moment to catch my breath. And then look, it's just Nicaragua's put a whole lot of new rules and regulations, and it's just slowing everything down with imports and exports. And it's just been a really, really challenging year. Luckily, we've been doing well, but we could be doing better if I was getting a better flow of product. I think we're like $1 million off the number we would be if we had a nice steady flow of product. But what can I do about it? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Just doesn't seem like things ever get easier. They just seem to get more complex and more difficult.
So in a situation like this, kind of like in a little past the halfway mark of a year that we're going through, like right now.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself having to make difficult decisions along the way? Like, I gotta cut this off, or I gotta change this, or do you?
No, this is all baked into the cake long ago.
Okay.
There's nothing that's happening this year that wasn't fully in motion last year.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's no turning back. That's part of the problem. When you see that you're crashing and burning, you really can't do anything but just keep hitting the accelerator until you hit the wall, because you're already on the path. To the size we are now, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, we're selling a dozen boxes of cigars a day. We're just we're going through a lot of product, and it's just kind of tail wags the dog sometimes.
Yeah.
To get a little off topic, Steve, have you lost some weight?
I'm trying.
Nice.
Yeah. I think I've gained a little. Excuse me for a second. I'm going to turn the fan on. I'm getting a little steamy over here talking to you guys.
I'm pretty sexy.
Raul has that effect on people.
Yeah, it's that Latin thing, right? A little airflow going. There we go. Yeah, I've been trying to lose a few pounds. It's not, again, certainly was a fuck ton easier when I was 32. I can tell you that. And it was easier when I was 40, and it was even easier when I was 50, 60. Man, that's a disaster.
Yeah, it's
I wish you would lose it as fast as you gained it. Shit.
yeah, I think about, it's like I look at a cupcake and I gain 2 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And
I look at a cupcake and I eat 2. So that's the problem.
Yeah, it's the looking that it's like I look at the cupcake and I'm like,
I can look all day, but yeah. So
so we definitely have a lot of cigar questions, but Raul had a really good one before we so as soon as he showed up here in the studio.
Like I said earlier, I'm smoking a Halligan.
Right.
And you have a lot of exclusives for different stores. How do you pick what cigar is going to go to what store? Do they help you blend? Do you just say, this is what I think fits your
They get stuck with whatever I give them. Yeah. If I started letting people have opinions, it would never fucking end. Yeah, no. It's
not even Vitolas, nothing, just is what you get and eat it.
Look, I'll have that discussion with them. Look, are you interested in something stronger? Are you interested in something mild? Are you interested in something large? Are you interested in something small? I mean, I'll typically have that, but almost always, most of the time, it's me. They don't pick me. I pick them. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a take it or leave it kind of offer, because I can just move on to the next person. Somebody's going to take it, because I don't mean to say it sounding arrogant, but 7 years and every exclusive I've done is sold out almost all universally within the first day or two. And many of the exclusives, look at Don Derma. Look, Don Derma is not going to instantly sell out when we drop it this year, but also we're doing literally almost 20x of what we did the first year between Don Derma and Golden Child, and it's like in its 7th or 8th year.
Yeah.
So that one, I mean, it's gonna go, but I doubt it's gonna scream the way something new. Like, I think that when Harrisburg Beer and Cigars finally receives their Conalams, I'll be stunned if the Conalams last more than a couple days. They shouldn't. They're fantastic cigars, But so I have another exclusive coming out later in the year called Leche Burra for Cigars Daily. And I made the blend more of a medium-ish kind of blend, because, he has a lot of newer consumers, that they're on the beginning of their journey curve. He's his story. I'm not saying he doesn't have a lot of experienced cigar customers too, but if you look at his group, because of the way it's driven, because of his YouTube channel, he gets a lot of people that are in the front end of their journey. So when I made the exclusive blend for him, I consciously decided that I was going to make it a little milder. Whereas the one I made for Harrisburg Beer and Cigars, those guys are like nicotine bandits, right? They just want to mainline it. So for them, I made a really super robust, potent kind of blend. So I think it's so I normally have some sort of idea in mind as to what I want to do, but no, I don't share samples. I don't look for feedback. I don't look for even, I really want it to be a Maduro, or I really want to know. They kind of get what they get. But at the same time, unlike most exclusives, I don't charge them any money up front. Most companies, when you want an exclusive, they're going to charge you a 50% deposit. Mm-hmm. I charge 0. You don't have to pay for it until I'm literally shipping it to your store. So they could literally just back out at any moment, and it would be okay, because then I would just go, okay, what other store would like to have something? And I've never had a store back out. I mean, look, eventually one of these is going to tank. I don't know which one it'll be and when it'll be, but eventually one of these will hit the brick wall, and then it won't be as sexy. But normally you have to hit the brick wall 2 or 3 times to really kill stuff. Like I said, it's been almost 8 years of doing these, and I have yet to have one that hits the wall. So maybe this will be the year. I never know.
Do you let them pick out the name at least, or is that?
No, I give them the name with the exception of the Halligan. Brett brought me the name, the Halligan.
Okay.
Yeah, Brett not only brought me the name Halligan, but Brett also gave me the logo that's screened on the box.
Yeah.
That was actually his. He wanted to honor a former firefighter. I think he was a former chief.
Yep.
That is a member of his lounge, hardcore cigar member. So he wanted to do something in that favor. But other than that, I'm trying to think, does anyone else ever have any? No, nobody has ever given me a name.
Well, we all know Brett J's a little special anyway.
It's great that he had something to work with, right? You know, but
yeah, I got a few of those boxes. I like that cigar a lot, and it's cut probably because I'm a fireman, and it's a solid smoke.
It's a medium flush-ish, very smooth. It's got a lot of chocolate notes to it. It's a good cigar. Is it one that's going to light your hair on fire? No, it's not that kind of cigar. It's definitely much more an easy smoke, for an experienced smoker. Now, if you're a relatively novice smoker, it's going to feel like it has a lot of body to it. Well, it does have a lot of body. It's got some weight to it, some substance to it, but it'll feel much stronger to you. I mean, look, I'm smoking 10 cigars a day for well over 3+ decades, almost 4 decades at this point. I mean, I don't even know what is too strong. I think you get to a point where your tolerance is so high. If anything, though, I kind of dial it back. Like, Justy's smoking a Tricky Traca, and I don't smoke Tricky Tracas unless they've had a couple years of age on them anymore. I find when they're fresh, they're a little too bitey for me, even, to really, if I'm in the mood for something spicy, great. But almost all the Trickies I smoke, I like them better after they've sat for a couple of years. Kind of just smooth them out, tone it down.
His is a couple years old.
Yeah, that one's
a few years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the flavor I get out of it more when it's like a brand new like if somebody's like looking for something really potent, try a Tricky Traca number 448. Those are really little spicy cigars. I mean, those have got a lot of pop to them. I mean, it's probably that Unstolen Valor, the U-Boat series. What else? You could argue Popetta's got quite a bit of little kick for such a little cigar. Yeah,
another solid cigar.
So I'm curious about, since you're going into this whole thing about 2 years old, 4 years old, whatever it may be, do you try to, and I know it's difficult to keep track of all this stuff with labels and numbers and stuff, but do you try to keep track of maybe some productions from years past to understand?
I don't date stamp the boxes for the consumer. They date stamp the bottom of the boxes for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was one of the things I really loved about the Cubans back in the old Novella Cuso days. And you have to be really old and even know what the fuck I'm talking about, Novella Cuso. But that was part of the date stamping codes that they used in the Cuban boxes. And I always liked the fact that I could identify the month and the year that the box was, cigars were boxed. And it's one of the reasons why there's very few boxes we don't date stamp. Some are impossible. Like, we can't date stamp any of the boxes that are like fully painted. So like the Don Derma boxes, you can't date stamp. There's just no way to date stamp. You know what? Just thought of something. A little late for this year's Don Derma release because it's already in a container. But you know what we could do? We could start stamping the inside of the box where the wood is natural.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what? I'm gonna do that. I don't know why I never thought about it before. Right now, but yeah, I could stamp the inside of the lid or something. Problem is, it'll change the flow because normally the box stamp gets done right at the end, and now it has to be done before the box is sealed. Let me talk to somebody.
Can't you color stamp it like the front with the gold?
Yeah. How are you gonna make custom stamps in gold foil?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's you to figure it out. I'm just coming up with the idea.
Yeah, like I got my little midget silk screen that goes out in custom screens every day. Yeah, no, that's not practical.
All right.
Well,
Just an idea.
one of the other things I want to get your take on is, and I know you've done certain elements of these over the years, but I'm curious how you feel about, and I don't know what the technical term is. I call them flourishes on cigars. Things like it could be a pigtail cap, or maybe a fantail cap, or maybe a barber pole, or maybe like some, you see sometimes really intricate and ornate die cut shapes of tobaccos, glued onto the. What are your feelings about flourishes on cigars like that?
The consumers like them.
Okay.
Look, a simple pigtail is easier to do than a finished head. It's actually cheaper.
Okay.
That's when you start getting into the fancy pigtails. Is where it ends up taking more time. I mean, I think it's a very nice attention to detail thing. Does it in any way improve the cigar? No, it doesn't in any way whatsoever. But it's something that I tend to use. I tend to use those kind of little, normally at the finishing of the head. I'll do that like on our higher end price cigars, Papa Sakas and Sin Compromisos and certain Muestras and whatnot. Sometimes the exclusives, I'll do it there. It just really depends. I mean, it's more of I tend to do it more on the more higher end or esoteric stuff, like on Sin Compromisos, do they have? Yeah, they have pigtails on all of them. They have kind of a spiral on them. It's either on the higher price point or it's more like, because I think it's going to be more of a geek cigar. It's like on Stillwell, I didn't do it.
Right.
The regular Sobremesa, we don't, but on the blue and the red, we do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an even.
Wagashi's got a pigtail on it too.
Yeah, Wagashi does. Right. Wagashi is a special high-end cigar in the Brulee line.
Yeah.
So I tend to do it there. Now, as far as the whole die cutting of putting little doodads and bedazzling my cigars with wrapper colors, look, they're just a novelty.
Right.
Would I do it? I'm not likely to. Will I eventually do it? Probably so, because I'm greedy and we need something different. But I mean, it adds nothing to the smoke, but the artistry component of it's interesting.
And Chris had because I think he's right about this. Was that beef stick for red meat lovers the only closed foot you've done?
Yeah, and the only reason why I did it because of the whole kitschy thing about beef sticks. But we ran into a problem with that. Like when we got the first batch of beef sticks, they weren't smoking right. And I realized the reason why is they put the bands on the wrong ends, and you were smoking the foot from the foot and lighting the head. And that's why if you look at a beef stick today, if you look at the bottom on the foot, there'll be a little pinhole in the wrapper, because I have the girls, you just take a needle and punch a little teeny tiny hole in there so you can quickly look at it when you're putting the band on to tell which end the band goes on, because the blend of the cigar is different from the front to the back. So if you smoke a beef stick backwards, it's not going to taste the same. Very true. That's true with some of my cigars and less true with other cigars, but with the beef stick, it was definitely the case. I don't tend to like closed feet, because when you light it, first off, you don't get a draw in the beginning, like the first few seconds, right? So that's not a big deal. But the problem with the closed foot is just ashes in your lap and on your shirt, right? Because it just floats all over the place. So on beef stick, it kind of makes sense. The cigar is supposed to look like a chunky beef stick, so therefore it has a finished head and foot. But it's not something that I'm likely to do. Same thing with like shaggy feet. I don't know. That aesthetic just looks kind of rough to me. So I've never been a shaggy foot fan. I'm not a big fan of the patchwork, and I'm not a big fan of the two-tone spiral, the double or triple wrappers. Again, I kind of like the look of it, but it really adds very little to the cigar. The only thing that actually does change the cigar is one thing that makes sense, and I'll eventually do it. I've done it. I did it once when I was at JR, and I did it once when I was at Drew Estate through Hoyt, Nicaragua. So I'm sure I'm going to eventually bring that back. But that has a practical purpose behind it. And I'm not denigrating when I see, people like Roma or What's the company that does? I don't mean to be this way.
Good company, Black Label Trading Company.
Yeah, thank you, Black Label. I was trying to get James, and so I was thinking about that. You know, they do some amazing stuff like on that Neon Tiger and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't think it really. I don't know. It doesn't. It's more an aesthetic than I think a practical purpose.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, go ahead.
So
barber pole. That was the word. I couldn't even remember the word barber pole. I'm like, what am I?
We knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, we all knew what I was talking about, but shit. I mean, I can remember fucking November 21st of 1996 and the Prince of Skis, but can I remember barber pole? No, that I can't remember. That's what happens when you get old, man. You just get dumber and dumber.
So you were talking about earlier the Mikuria tastes better after 2 years.
I like this is me personally. I like the Tricky Chalk after it's mellowed a little bit. That's me.
Okay.
Look, for the people that really love Tricky Chalkas, I imagine they're smoking because they like the more peppery blast that it gives them. So therefore, in their case, they may actually prefer them younger, right? Like that's the way I always felt about Liga Privadas. I liked Liga Privadas after they had somewhere between like 7 to like 12 months. But man, once I got to like 3 years, I was kind of like, I don't really want it anymore. It just became too smooth, too mellow, not as enjoyable. So for me, I wanted my Ligas right around the year mark was like perfect for me on Liga Privadas. On Tricky's about 2 years.
So
one of the nice things for me is I tend to smoke a lot of stuff out of bundles, out of like trunk stock. So when we buy that, I'm not gonna go, oh, I need 4 bundles, I need 6 bundles. No, I buy 120 bundles. So I buy 3,000 cigars to have them put in bundles because we use them for events and trunk stock and promo and whatever else. And so it's not unusual for me to have really well-aged bundles that I'm smoking from.
Yeah.
Which one of your cigars do you like smoking fresh?
Oh,
the freshest.
What do I like smoking the freshest? Probably Papa Sakas. I like Papa Sakas a lot. That's also one of our strong cigars, I think. I think that would fit in the stronger category, Papa Saka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one yesterday. I love that cigar. And which one what is the longest aged cigar that you've had in your repertoire that you've smoked?
Are we talking about like, Dunbarton or in general?
Dunbarton. No, in Dunbarton. Like you said, a Tricky Chalk is good after 2 years for your palate.
Yeah.
I've had cigars all the way back from 2014. So
yeah.
I mean, I have original Sober Mesas and I have original Mickey Ritas and I have original.
Which one do you find ages the best?
Oh,
that's better.
I think one of the best aging cigars we have is U-Boat and Unstolen Valor. I think those two age really, really well.
Okay.
I love both of those cigars with age. And to answer the other question, the oldest cigar I've ever smoked was 100 years old.
Really?
And it may have been 101, but I was saving it for Y2K for the turn of the century. And I couldn't figure out whether it was made in 1898 or 1899. So therefore, I just defaulted for 1899. So I knew for sure it was a pair of petite Coronas, and they literally tasted like warm air. It had zero flavor whatsoever. You couldn't even be more underwhelming.
So I'm curious about and this can even go into, not just the last 10 years since you started Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, but even previous years, all the times that you've gone through sampling different, tobaccos from different batches and things like that, and putting together blends. And how often has it happened for you that you'll talk to somebody at the factory and say, okay, put together, some of these, this and that and the other, and put these together for me with the specific tobaccos that you're looking for. And you get those samples and you smoke them and you realize this cigar is even as strong as the consumer palate is becoming. This cigar is too strong. We can't make this cigar. We can't ship this cigar.
There's a market for all of that. Here's the dilemma that you have. In order to make really super strong cigars now, you kind of have to make a conscious decision prior and pre-industry.
Okay.
Because what you're really doing is you're slightly under fermenting that tobacco. You're really not taking it to a point that it kind of really sweetens up and becomes a little bit more mellow and a little smooth. So you're making that decision, a year ahead of time for your triple Polones.
Okay.
You decide that, hey, I'm gonna arrest these Polones. I call it prematurely. Somebody else would call it perfectly on time. But look, that's why a lot of cigars from Pepin are that way, right? He ferments his tobacco in a certain way, and the byproduct of that is making primarily spicier style cigars, as a general rule of thumb. So I don't tend to ever really make. It's one of the things I always say. There's the major hole in our portfolio is there's really no pepper bomb. There's no like, oh my God, it blows your head off kind of cigar. I don't have any of it. Part of the reason for that is kind of twofold. First reason is because I don't really smoke those style of cigars anymore. My fascination with those kind of died in the, I don't know, mid 2000-ish, maybe right around there. I think like all cigar smokers, you get into this and you start mild and you creep up the strength curve and keep creeping up the strength curve. You get to the point where you just, no matter what you smoke, it isn't strong enough. Mm-hmm. So you then end up chasing the strong high, right? That's where you end up later. You're chasing that dragon.
Chasing the dragon.
Crazy. Yeah. Look at this crazy strong. I'm going to blow my face off. I'm going to melt my face. But you get to a point where you can't make a cigar physically any stronger because the tobacco won't stay lit anymore, right? You just can't. So you hit a wall from a construction smokable point of view. And then what typically happens though is I think that most consumers go through this journey, but then ultimately almost all tend to dial back a little. They don't just want really strong cigars anymore. They actually they go back down the strength curve. And most hardcore, like real serious cigar smokers that are smoking like 2-3 a day or more, most of their cigars on a strength scale of 1 through 10, they're probably right in between like 6 and 8. That's where probably most of them fall.
Yeah.
And look, and again, those same people also will occasionally throw in a Wagashi or they'll throw in a Brulee Blue, right? Because they also are now kind of a point where they're back to being able to appreciate a milder cigar as long as it has some flavor and some body and some depth to it. So as a general rule of thumb, we don't make those cigars because I don't tend to smoke them very often. And when occasionally I do, I can light up Lito Gomez Double Lajero, right, or something like that. And then the second reason is because I don't smoke much of that style cigar, I would have to make the conscious decision in pre-industry to intentionally under ferment some Polones, which would then give me a lot of very spicy tobacco, which if I don't really have a whole product line, I'm going to do a lot of these really spicy tobacco cigars. Look, eventually I'm going to do it because I'm running out of, how many more ponies can I pull out of this hat? Right. and I say that understanding it's normally rabbits, but it feels like ponies in my case. So eventually I'm going to have it'll be an area I go down. But right now I'm on this really weird thing, been working with a grower of ours, and he's been developing a unique cross between broadleaf and Cuban seed. In Nicaragua, and it's a wrapper that I'm going to start to feature on some products. So, that kind of thing has more appeal to me than there's so many really good, super strong, spicy cigars that me adding one would be because we don't have one.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as me using some totally new wrapper material that's hybridized that nobody's ever used before. Totally new flavor profile, different texture, so those kind of things excite me a little bit more. So I tend to, because all of these things are time and dollar commitments, and sometimes more dollars than time in this case, because a lot of it has to do with the farm for me. But it's a serious cash commitment when I decide I'm going to do something like this. Like right now, I'm $750,000 into a broadleaf crop because The crop was I can tell you right now, our Mickey readers are really, really good now. They're going to be fucking unreal going into next year. The wrapper that we're working on right now is, I think it's probably the best broadleaf wrapper I've ever seen in 40 years. Like it's
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's like ridiculous. Like it's so ridiculous. I literally just want to masturbate in the leaf. It's just so dark and so juicy. It's got so much body and so much oil. I mean, it's crazy.
So I went back earlier today and I was digging through some archives, finding some old interviews with you. And there was one back even, before Dunbarton. I believe it was an interview from 2011. You were talking about broadleaf specifically.
Yeah.
And 2011, it's a long time ago. So, and I believe at the time you said broadleaf was really expensive at $23 a pound.
Yeah, we're now well over 40.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, look, I'm looking at some XLs right now, and like on the XLs, I'm looking at 28, 29, which is just fucking insane to me. For the record, you know what an XL is?
Larger leaf?
No. An XL, typical cigar tobacco branding. They make everything confusing. But an XL is where one side of the leaf is sano and the other side of the leaf has got tears or holes or
okay.
So you only have half a leaf. So basically, I'm paying for half a wrapper leaf, and I'm at $29 a pound right now.
Wow.
And that's not counting the fact that you're going to lose 30% of the weight in fermentation, and that's not counting the fact that you're going to use literally, best case scenario, 2 times the weight to make cigars, and oftentimes you're closer to 3 times the weight. So you're already at like 45-50% more cost, at least for the wrapper. You lose 30%. And then when you go to utilize it, you end up basically getting only half to a third of the usable. And even when I say you lose 30 in the fermentation, depending on the sort, you might drop another 20-25% out before you even get the step of actually utilization. Now, the wrapper is, to put it in perspective, in today's dollars, a cut of really super high quality grade 1 Ecuador Habano, you would be very hard pressed, if you know what the fuck you're doing, to spend much more than 32 to 33 cents for that cut of tobacco for the wrapper. Right now, in high-end Connecticut broadleaf, we're really pushing into like $1.16, $1.17 for the same. Yeah, it's literally just the wrapper cost alone is 3x.
Unreal.
So am I wrong by saying the new Carrillo, the broadleaf, Mi Carrillo, is going to be more? You're gonna have to
look
that cost on the line.
It's so funny we had this conversation because I literally got a phone call from Gustavo Cura. He's the president of Prosanitza. And Prosanitza is the people that do the fermentation of all the materials that I secure and that we use in our cigars, with the exception of very few. And he said, "Hey, Saka, when you come down to Nika next time, we need to spend a whole day going through the yield and utilization numbers, because I'm going to have to start charging you more, but I want you to look through all the numbers so you come to the conclusion that I've already come to," which, look, I'm sure I'm going to come to the same conclusion as him, but he knows that because I'm so intimately familiar with the costings and sort and utilization and all that stuff, he wants to walk me through the numbers so that way I don't feel as though I'm being taken advantage of, which it's very unusual that I get taken advantage of nowadays. But at the same time, I'm also a little bit more generous than I used to be too. But I do that generosity with the understanding that there's an expectation that comes with it. And they all know that. So it's kind of like I always say this. Our cigars, I can compete with top tier cigars in that $13 to $20 price point. I can't compete with these $6, $7, $8. Somebody like AJ Fernandez or Perdomo Cigars are going to actually give you better value for your money at an $8 price point. I can't make something worthy. My $8 cigar, just that's why I don't have a lot of them, right? I have very few. I have, and the ones you have are all byproducts, right? It's Umbagog, which is $8 to $11 now, and that's a byproduct of broadleaf that I don't want to use on the top tier product. And then we have Popettas, and Popettas are made from the table trimmings of those high-end products that we make. So even both of the sub $10 cigars that I have are really just to kind of, dollar cost average out my material utilization to kind of control my prices. So it forces me, if I want to be on an equal playing field, to be in that $13 to $20 range. Because I know if you smoke a $16 Dunbarton, it will compare favorably with any other brand $16 cigar. May not be to your liking flavor-wise, but I know it's there. It can go toe-to-toe. It can be as good or better cigar. Now, that being said, I don't make as much profit as the big companies. They still have all the advantages, right? But I can overcome the advantages at that price point by just simply making less profit. Yeah. Look, it's but we're a really weird place. I mean, we're probably the most innovative smaller company. I know that's a very arrogant thing to say out loud, but I mean, when I just think about the tobaccos we use, unique things that we have, the processes that we do, there's a lot of things that we do that are different than a lot of other companies. And as a result, all those things drive up cost, which really basically take away from profit. But it also means that when someone smokes a $15.95 Papa Saka MSRP, nobody's probably paying that price. They're probably paying 10 to 15 points less. I know that cigar is going to be able to go toe-to-toe with any other $16 Maduro Corona Gorda in the market. I know it's there. You know what I mean? So even though I make $1 less, it's okay. I can compete there.
Yeah.
I can't compete on the lower end. I just can't. So I don't try. I have to accept my limitations.
Is the new broadleaf going to be a different band color? Are you going to make it pink or purple or anything like that?
No. Look, you go through these all the time. The quality of the materials are constantly varying, right? And look, it's been a struggle to make BK Ritas this year because we were really scraping the bottom of the barrel of the broadleaf, and we haven't been able to pull as much broadleaf that meets the. We've had a lot more umbagogs, let's just say, in the last 6 months than I would like. Way more umbagogs than I would like, to be honest with you. So it'll be nice. I mean, it'll be nice to get getting to something with a better yield at the table will really help to make the numbers a little bit more palatable.
Yeah. Well, I know in some projects you've worked with some, because when it comes to premium cigar tobaccos, there's the well-known heavy hitters, that are out there, from your Corojos to your broadleafs to your Connecticut shades and Habanos and so on and so forth. But you incorporated this Comstock tobacco in a previous project with Don Derma, and you just mentioned a minute ago about this hybrid that is being worked on with hybrid between broadleaf and Cuban seed being grown in Nicaragua. And in addition to that,
also funny is I actually came up with a really good name for that tobacco, and I can't remember what it is.
Got to write that shit down, bro.
Got to write that shit down. Yeah.
I gotta ask Anna. It was fucking brilliant. In fact, the farmer even loved the name.
If the farmer likes it, you're in.
Yeah, and the dude doesn't speak a fucking lick of English, so what the fuck does he know? But no, he really. It was. You know what it was? It was Kappa Chameleon. That's gonna be. And the reason why is because it looks like broadleaf, but it doesn't taste like broadleaf. So it's kind of a chameleon. You know what I mean? It's a very surprising. It's a surprising smoke. Yeah, Kappa Chameleon. That is the official name. I really should trademark that.
I love that.
Better.
So I'm curious, what you said, it looks like broadleaf, but does it feel like broadleaf too? Does it have that texture?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, interesting. Okay.
There's a lot of similarities to it. It's an interesting seed variety.
Nice. Oh, somebody's putting it to Culture Club song. That's perfect. I love that.
The Boy George cigar.
But I'm curious also if, how often you spend time working with quote unquote unusual tobaccos. It could be from, I don't know.
No, you don't work with a lot of them. You choose. Look, I have a really huge advantage. The president of Pro Sonics is Gustavo Cura. He supplies wrapper to literally everybody almost in the industry, with very few exceptions. And he's a really, really good personal friend. And, it's a way that, if I want to do a little pilot crop or a test or something he's working on or whatever, I'm kind of his guinea pig for a lot of it, So, it's really good. And so, look, there's a definite advantage to, everyone knows Gus. So it's not like a unique relationship. But no, we're like really true friends. And look, and I also the Nicaraguan American factory, that's the factory that he runs. Yeah. And I'm their largest customer there.
Is there any farm out there that you haven't worked with yet that you would like to work with?
Ooh.
Not particularly, no. I mean, I've worked with most. Worked with all the big names in some degree or capacity. The thing that I'm always interested in just something that's different or unique or fresh, or those kind of things are the things that I get most excited about. But no, there isn't like, oh my God, I really wish Chico Escorzi would take my call so I can go see Chico. Which, by the way, I've done business with Chico for a long time. But no, there's nothing in particular. I mean, look, there's a whole world of people that I'm not very familiar with, right? I mean, yeah, I know the big people in the Dominican Republic, the Cascayas and the Hochi Blancos, and those people. But I'm sure there's a lot of very talented, skilled farmers in the Dominican that I'm completely oblivious of, and that if I spent time in country, I would probably learn a lot, and I would find somebody else. So most of my stuff is more Nicaraguan centric, or it's wrapper centric, because of the prior relationship, broadleaf. There's a couple farmers that I like to work with that are different than the farmers that my friends at Drew Estate use for most of their stuff. And it's not because the farmers they use are not good farmers. They absolutely are. Foster and Jarmark are very good. It's just that's their relationship. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and look, I don't need the volume. So I'm okay playing with the Pee Wee League group guys. You know what I mean? I don't need to have as much grown. I just need it to be grown a certain way to meet my needs. And so it's much different. Look, there's also an advantage in just relationships with other factories, because we all have materials that we don't have a use for. Not that they're not great materials. It came as part of a full crop.
Mm-hmm.
I only needed the tenderloin cut. I only needed this particular viso, whatever I needed. I needed the thin viso for this. I really don't need this thicker material. Hey, let me call my friend Gilberto, or somebody over at one of the other factories. I don't want to name names, but I mean, we sell tobacco to a lot of factories, and that spit gets swapped all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna this next question. I'm gonna start it with Mr. Saka. What was your biggest flop?
Ooh.
Biggest flop was Todos Los Dias. Todos Los Dias, when we stopped making it, was only growing 17% year on year.
Okay.
That was your biggest flop financially, but the cigar
It wasn't
sucked.
financially a flop. I mean, it just didn't grow the way the other ones grew. I mean, 17% year over year growth is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was going to say, if you
No,
consider
look-
17% growth a flop, that's doing pretty well.
But it was being outpaced by the others. I think look,
Sure.
the packaging that was initially done in was pretty piss poor. That was my fault. The name is one of those kind of weaker generic names. Doesn't sing the same way as some of the others. You know, it's I mean, I liked it when we did the remake and the packaging. And in my defense, the initial packaging literally it got thrown together so quick because it was during that whole 90-day window when they announced the FDA cutoff of August 8th, 2016. And at that point, they were telling you if you hadn't imported the product, it could never be imported ever in the future. So literally, I was rushing in Sin Compromiso. I was rushing in 8 million different variations of Muestra. I was rushing in. Like, I always knew I was going to do a Connecticut Shade Brulee. I didn't know in 2016 that I was going to call it Brulee, but I knew I was going to do it. The blend was already done, so I had to rush that into the country. So the Todos Los Dias was that year's trade show release for 2017.
Yeah.
2017. It just got slapped together way too quickly. Not enough care, not enough tension, not enough TLC. But I can't even explain what a mad scramble that like 100 days was. It was just absolute bedlam. So then, I fixed the packaging a couple years later, but it shares one common ingredient with Sobremesa. The Sobremesa is like grown 40% year over year, every year. So it was a question of, okay, I only have so much of this particular tobacco. Am I going to keep carving out to make Todos Los Dias, which is growing 17%? Or am I going to dedicate it all to Sobremesa, which is growing 40%? So therefore, it all went to Sobremesa. And now we do Todos Los Dias in just small, limited batches. Like, in fact, if I get my ass in gear tomorrow, I'm going to write an email to the retailers telling them about the double wide so that we can take the pre-orders on that.
Nice.
We're going to do the double wide this year. So,
Right.
could it eventually return? Yeah, it eventually could return to the portfolio. It's a great cigar. It's a good cigar.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
going to say that it's a good
Yeah.
cigar, and I was hoping you'd bring it back.
Jay Davis, as always, coming in with a great question. Is Steve interested in working with Dominican or Honduran tobacco, or is he already doing that?
So we currently use one ingredient from the Dominican Republic, and grown by Augusto Reyes. It's a particular Lajero hybrid that he has. And then Honduran tobacco, I'm using some old Estrella seed from a farm in northern Honduras that has now been planted in southern Honduras. They actually got shut out by the drug cartels. It became too dangerous where they were growing. And so I was on the Estrella farm, and they had a particular tripa that I used to really, really like. It was used to be used by the Villazon factory back before they got bought out by General, which then became STG. So it was really back in the early days for me of Hoy and Punch, which would have been like what, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
So we use a little bit of Honduran tobacco there, but no, the bulk of the tobaccos that we use for most of our filler materials are primarily Nicaraguan, and then you have some sprinkling of a little Honduran, a little Dominican. You mentioned the oddball, the Wisconsin Comstock, a little bit of Pennsylvania seed leaf here and there. I don't know that we currently have so many blends right now. I'm trying to think. Do I have any broadleaf being used as any trippa right now? If I don't, I really should. But I don't think I do currently. Well, most of the broadleaf that's like of that grade, we end up basically spitting it off, and then we put it in a caldera and we cook the fuck out of it to make it super black and gorgeous, and then it ends up on some really ultra cheap bundles. Like if you as a consumer go look at the Maduro bundles, they will always be prettier than the expensive Connecticut broadleaf cigars. And the reason why is because we cook all that wrapper for that shit. Because the consumers that buy it, the problem with cooking it is it becomes really pretty, but it becomes very flavor free. You know what I mean? It sucks all the essential oils just literally drip down. They just drip down in the steam tray. So you're sacrificing a tremendous amount of flavor. But the guy that's smoking a $2 cigar, $2-3 cigar, if he knew anything about flavor, he wouldn't be smoking those $2 or $3 cigars, right? He would, and I don't mean that to be, 1%er about it, but at the same time, I know personally, if I had to choose, I would rather smoke one good $9 cigar than three $3 cigars. I mean, and I'm not saying that there aren't some cheapies. You might find a cheapie that you really personally like. The problem with them is they're always going to be inconsistent. So you might really, really like it now to find it a few months later to really, really suck. You know what I mean? But what do you want? You're spending $3. I mean,
yeah, but you're right. I know we've done this before talking to you that, but it is a common analogy in my mind, at least, with cigars and specifically the raw materials that go into cigars and food, because you could have two chefs or two cooks and you go to Costco, you buy a slab of pork belly, and you cut it right down the middle. One cook takes it and he puts it in a pot of water and he boils it for a couple hours, and the other one slow smokes it and tends to it with love and kindness and care. And at the end of the day, the products are going to come out vastly different.
Which is what I always, roundabout way. I always tell people that factories are where cigars go to die. That's where they just fuck them up. It's all about the ingredients, right? If the ingredients are really pristine, okay, and they're what you want them to be, it's then the job of the factory to execute the recipe and to make the cigars correctly. But also at the same time, they can also hammer the living daylights out of it. And they can you can give them fucking tenderloin lobster and they can make it into fucking hamburger helper, right? So, the factory is actually the place that you just, most factories take, it's not the right way to say it. Any factory can take perfectly fantastic materials and basically end up making hamburger helper.
Okay.
Right? They can ruin it. They can simply ruin really, really good ingredients. Now you have some factories, and maybe this has to do with the talent of the cigar makers, where I actually think they can elevate the materials. And I'll give you a perfect example of that. I think what Pepin and Jaime Garcia do is really, truly an art form.
Yeah.
They are genuinely talented, gifted cigar makers. They take materials that at face value, and they're not bad materials, but at face value, I would be like, okay, this is fine, but let me look at that over there. But they can take those materials and they can actually improve them and make them better through the process of what they do. And that's a very unique skill set. It's now I can take an ingredient and figure out a way to weave it in, but I definitely do not have the talent of what Pepin Garcia has and the ability to sometimes. He's the guy that you give fucking cheese whiz and marshmallows to, and somehow he ends up giving you a fucking Michelin star meal item. Sometimes I don't even understand how he accomplishes some of the things he makes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go a little political here. Along with the tariffs coming out of Nicaragua, are you worried about the instability of their government at all?
Look, I learned long ago that I'm a guest. and I'm there at the behest of the country. And at any moment, they can revoke my privilege to visit, and they can revoke my privilege to work there. And therefore, I always have taken the attitude of being a guest and just being appreciative for whatever I'm afforded. So it's not my position to be critical or supportive individually of any government, much less, one like in Nicaragua. That's something that's left, from my perspective, is something that is the full purview of the citizens of Nicaragua. They're the ones that live there. They're the ones that vote for who they vote. They're the ones that decide what they're going to do or not do. So I'm basically a very go with the flow kind of guy when it comes to anything dealing with not just Nicaraguan politics, but pretty much all politics that don't directly that I don't have a say in. It's a better way, because look, the politics of Nicaragua affect me. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, I also realize that I can't look. I'm a very small fish in the pond, right? So there's no way I could do anything. Now, as a general rule of thumb, though, I will say, and it hasn't changed under the current administration, we've really essentially had no sort of strategic international policy or relationship with anyone in Central America or South America pretty much since the tail end of the Reagan years. I think the Iran-Contra experience so soured the political elite to want to even engage that they pretty much have left this entire region of the world to its own devices. And I think that that's a huge mistake. I think that if we don't fill the void, at some point the Russians were filling the void. Lately, it's been the Chinese filling the void. It's our job to be more, to project a little more. Now, I understand that kind of goes against the current kind of semi-isolationist view that some people have. But I think we've gone too far to the extreme. I think that 50 years ago we were deciding who was going to be king and who was going to be dictator, and we were putting people in power, and we were using CIA dollars and everything we could do to manipulate these countries. Obviously, that didn't pan out very well. But we've kind of gone the reverse direction where we almost have almost zero engagement, and that doesn't make sense to me. I think that, that's one of the things, I know that administrations get criticized when they engage with the less savory of the world, the Koreans or the Chinese or the Russians or whoever it may be. But I'm of the belief that why wouldn't I want to be at the table? Why wouldn't I want to hear what they have to say? Doesn't mean I have to agree with it. I want to have the conversation with anybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe Pol Pot doesn't become Pol Pot if somebody had some sort of interaction with Pol Pot. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I do feel as though we as the United States have been very neglectful in having any sort of really, and I can only speak about the countries that I am familiar with and visit, but definitely Central South America. We've had a really big lack, and I don't know if that's I don't feel that that's true with Europe. I don't feel that's true. I do feel it's true with Africa, but I don't feel like it's true with like the Pan-Asian Rim. I don't feel that it's true with Europe. Is Russia part of Europe or not? I've never been able to figure that. Are they?
I don't believe it's
they're part of Asia.
I don't believe it's part of the EU. I think technically.
Well, I know it's not part of the EU. We all know that. But
yeah, it's.
Are they considered the continent of Europe, or are they considered the continent of Asia?
Continent of Asia.
Yeah.
Part B of that question. Let's just say it does go to shit in Nicaragua. What would your second plan be? What country would you go to?
I wouldn't. I would close the company and I would retire.
Okay.
Just that simple. Look. the idea at the age of 60 of starting over again is just mind blowing to me. I don't. The one thing I've learned from this experience is that I overestimate my capacity and capabilities. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to start a company. Well, I mean, I knew, but I didn't really fully process, because look, it's the third company I've been involved in. The first one I did start from scratch when I was really, really young, and I grew that company to 50 employees to then ultimately sell it. So I did have that, like, from, hey, I'm one guy in my apartment, to, oh, a real company that's worth millions and millions of dollars. So I had that experience, but I had that experience in my late 20s, early 30s. Well, how old was I? So I got out of the Navy, 6 years. That moves me to 23. I was only 27, 28 when I sold that company. And then I had the experience of going to a really mega company, which was JR Cigar, Santa Clara, and had all sorts of infrastructure. So I was a cog in a wheel trying to figure out, how do I become a bigger cog, right? Which luckily I was able to do. But that was a much different scenario here. And then I went to Drew Estate, and Drew Estate, when I joined them, was a relatively small company. I mean, it had about 300 employees at that point between the factory. Most of it was factory, not very much in the United States. To then, go through the really difficult but meteoric rise of a company, which, look, I never had that experience before. So I kind of had tastes of like 3 different business experiences, all of which I got bought out of. I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be at the age of 50 to totally start from scratch with literally nothing. Like, there is no company, nothing exists, zero. And I think I really underestimated the amount of labor that would take. And I thought that, you like to think, like, I'm wiser. So I think I've made better decisions with this company and how I've operated than any of the 3 previous companies that I was involved in. But at the same time, too, I mean, you can tell just looking at the company, we're doing really well, but I really held the company back. We could do so much more. I mean, we could be literally doing 3 times the business that we're currently doing. But
at what expense, though?
Yeah.
That's the problem. For what purpose? For why?
Yeah.
What dollars are going to be stacked upon dollars? There's, like, literally, if you said to me, this is a really weird thing, but if you said to me, what is it that you really want to have money to buy? There's literally nothing. I can't think of a single thing that's beyond my reach, with the exception of one. There is one thing.
Were you going to say hair?
You're going to say what?
This guy.
Hair?
Hair.
Yeah,
Your head.
I started balding when I was 19. If you could offer me Fabio hair right now, I would not take it. Literally. This is so much easier. The one thing, if I ever became like stupid, really like stupid wealthy, the one thing that I'm actually envious of and jealous of is a private plane. I would so love to be able to afford to always fly private. That would be like, oh my God, that would be so mint. But 90-foot mega yachts, 200-foot could care less. I love my little 19-foot bass boat. You know what I mean? I love my expensive pickup truck, but it's not like wanting a Lamborghini or a whatever. You know what I mean? It's a totally different thing. So yeah, there's nothing within my means that I can't purchase at this point.
Yeah.
Except that fucking private plane, man. That private plane. That would just the convenience of it. That's what it is. It's the convenience that would be so cherry. The thing is, look, in most private flights domestically, they cost $28,000 one way. Right. So I mean, if you were somebody that was like banking, $10 million a year, and you took a dozen flights a year, you'd be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna spend $300,000 of my $10 million to be able to fly in a net jets executive shared kind of situation.
Yeah.
Well, actually, owning a plane is just that's stupid money. That's reserved for the really, really wealthy. I'd be very happy to be a pulper and just be able to spend for the net jet service. But that would be the one. That's the one perk that I'm envious of.
Okay. So I'm curious about this, because throughout the 40 plus years, really, because I believe you started enjoying premium cigars in 84.
No, is that right? Let me think about this. Yeah, you're right. It's 1984.
Matt does his homework.
I do my homework.
That's some crazy. Yeah, it was when I was so I enlisted in the service at the age of 17 in 1983, and yeah, 1984 would have been roughly the first time I smoked a handmade cigar.
So, in the roles that you've taken on, whether it was JR or Drew Estate, and then starting your own company with Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, the biggest difference, is with Dunbarton, now going into 10 years, is, although you had prominent roles at these other companies with JR and with Drew Estate, when it came to starting Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, you truly became the face of the company. And with that comes, the fandom, and the fandom of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust is fantastic. I mean, it's truly the cigar nerds of the cigar nerds. It's almost cultish. It is honestly. And so I'm curious, what is your favorite way to interact with Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust fans?
Straining orders. Look, here's a weird part about it. We have managed to cultivate such a great group of patrons, but it's really kind of by accident. There was no grand master plan. You know what I mean? You think about these companies. These companies do all sorts of things to get consumer engagement. They create groups, they create ambassador programs, they do all these things. And we literally do none of it, zero. We don't even have our own social media group. It's actually started by a consumer and operated by admins. I don't even know who all the admins are of the group, to be honest with you. I mean, we got consumers that make their own swag. They take our logos and they make all sorts of crazy shit out of it. It's unreal. And I get it though, because I remember when I got really hardcore into cigars, which would have been early 90s, right? 1989-ish, when I really so I started smoking in 1984, but you go cigar crazy at some point. And I went cigar crazy, I think early 89, roughly, right around there is where I started to go cigar crazy. And I remember how much enjoyment I got out of those cigars. They just literally made my life better. Just everything about it, just how I interacted with my kids, how I interacted with my wife, how I interacted with other people. And I think it was just the de-stressing component. Because you got to remember, even at this point, I had a small individual business. I had a company called ProTech Systems. And and then when you realize what a benefit this is to your life, it then makes you thankful for the people that produce the product that leads you to this enjoyment, this bliss factor. Yeah. So I get it. I understand it. There were brands that I was incredibly loyal to during those years. I mean, there were some that were. At the same time, I'm not very celebrity influenced. I'm the guy that most celebrities meet goes, "Who's that asshole?" Because I'm very nonchalant, which means that of the, I don't know, 300 odd celebrities I probably met over the years, I think I got along with like maybe 4 of them or 5 of them. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird, but yeah, I mean, you're incredibly thankful that you have such a tremendous following, because it genuinely makes a huge difference. Like we had this comment before the show started. Look, the last year and a half have not been good for the cigar business. Most companies are down. Most companies are like offering like incredibly stupid discounts to just hopefully move anything at all. I mean, it's been really kind of tough coming off from the COVID high. We've been blessed because we've been hot, which then we're not as hot as we should be number wise, but it keeps us still growing in a period where most people are contracting. So you can't help but be genuinely thankful for that patron base, because without them, that would not be possible. So like, I talk about how difficult things are, but all of my problems are trying to get more product, trying to get that more in a timely flow, trying to get projects done that I already have commitments for. I mean, it's a different kind of perspective from, oh my God, we're not selling anything. Look, I understand they're not selling anything too. Look, there were days in 2017 where we didn't sell a single box of cigars as a company. You know, so I get the struggle. I understand it. And I imagine, and that's with me with all of my built-in advantages and benefits. And look, they're not a cigar privilege thing. It was something that was earned over the course of really from my consumer interaction in the early 90s all the way through the 2 previous companies I was at. So I mean, it was earned privilege. Let me say it that way.
Yeah.
But even with my earned privilege, fucking shit is hard.
Oh yeah.
Right? So if the shit is hard and I have all of these advantages, I mean, I can't even name, but there's like 20 or 30 like really small circling kind of like satellite brands that I honestly don't know how they're making ends meet. I can't wrap my head around it. I can't wrap my head around even some currency like long-standing small media-ish kind of companies, how they're even holding on right now. It's tough. I mean, it's a tough market. So the fact that we've been able to power through it unscathed, untouched, to continue to have growth, well, that's because of the fan base. Now, cult, whew, I hope that isn't true. I mean, I hope it's earned. I hope that the product is worthy of the praise. The whole concept of XX for life just kind of turns me off. I mean, look, as a company, I should love it, but as an individual, personally, I don't know. I mean, look, if I really, really like something, I like to support it, and I hope that whoever I'm supporting does well, so they can continue to do what they're doing, because that ends up enriching my life because I get the benefit of the product they're going to make. But at the same time, if they start fucking it up, yeah, I'll take 1 bite. I'll take 2 bites. Man, when we get to that 3rd strike, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to find another home for my dollars. I'm going to find something else that satisfies me. So as much as I understand that culty thing, I think that most Dunbarton customers are a little bit more experienced.
Yeah, a little more savvy.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
I think that they're people that have smoked many cigars and many brands over the years, and I think at this point they don't need a magazine or a media site or a manufacturer, sales rep, whoever, to tell them what's good. They can sort the wheat from the chaff themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping the people that are really hardcore Dunbarton people are because they really genuinely really like the product and they're enjoying it. They feel that there's value in it. And they see the worth and they're spending it's not just dollars, but look,
time.
If you talk to me 30 years ago, the dollars were really important. Right now, for me, time is the only thing that's really relevant. Time is time is the thing that's totally fucking my deal up, man. It's like working against me. So time is, that's the reason why I see that comment there. We pitch enough dog rockets, we know. Like if I light something and it isn't good, including mine, if I get something wrong, it's not burning right, it's wonky, something's going wrong with it, I just pitch that shit and move on.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can only smoke so many cigars the rest of my life. I want them to all be good or great. So I got no reason to power through something. And I like to think that the customers that smoke our stuff, they've smoked so many different things and so many, not just hundreds, but literally thousands upon thousands. Thousands of cigars, that they're recognizing that there's actually value in this product. Yeah. It's actually worth not only their dollars, which they work hard for, but that it's worth their time and it's worth space in their humidor, because they could fill that with anything. And they could definitely fill it with a brand that's way more flexy, right? I mean, look, Dunbarton is a weird in the know kind of thing, maybe. But with the average typical cigar consumer, smoking a Dunbarton, you might as well be just speaking Swahili, right? they genuinely do not know it. And look, you can see it. Like you made the comment that you're doing the 300th episode at our only store in Minnesota. I don't know if that's true, but honestly, it could be true, right? Because,
I believe it's true.
Yeah, because listen, even today, here we are 10 years later, we're in 450 accounts. That's literally nothing. I mean, we're not in very many accounts. And part of that's been intentional on my part, because I never wanted to look, I'm behind on stuff now. I never wanted to dramatically outstrip capacity for expansion's purposes, because that's not the model I'm in. The model I'm in is a higher grade, higher quality, higher consistency model. I'm not in the, oh my God, let me sell 100 million cigars and I make my money off 100 million. It doesn't matter that 35 million of them are kind of, if even, right? Because really, honestly, 100 million, the most 100 million productions, I would probably say that 85 million are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That there's, even if they're good, there's just no particular reason to smoke them, in my opinion. So, it's so yeah. God bless. I'm very thankful for the Dunbarton fan. I genuinely am, because they are what allow me to keep doing what I want to do versus what my wife wants me to do, which is retire and just close the company and say to hell with it.
Well, and I appreciate the fact that it's a different kind of fan. And like you mentioned, it's there's cults, like you were talking about cult. There's cult, and then there's cult of personality. But this is almost something. There's something different, and I wouldn't even necessarily say that Dunbarton is the only brand in the premium cigar space that's like this. But there are some brands, yours included, that are. It's almost a cult of quality, where it goes, because you can sell people on social media through pizzazz and things like that for only so long before the quality catches up with you. But in your case, the quality is very consistent. and the flavors and the aromas are very consistent. And you couple that with fans who are more in our sort of milieu of we want quality and consistency, and it does kind of perpetuate itself within small groups of the people who just really, like you said, they want to make the most of their time.
So I want to flip back to a comment made by Jay Davis at 11:04. Steve is being overly modest. Yes, his cigars are top caliber, but he's a master of marketing. The marketing and buzz help the brand too. Yes, I am. Look, but here's the funny part about it is my marketing is just being a schlubby cigar guy that really, really loves cigars. So, that's my marketing. And also being a little cantankerous, but being cantankerous is, again, part of my actual true nature. And then being somewhat arrogant, but at the same time also being very customer service focused. To be loyal with the people that help support us. I mean, so really, my marketing is just a reflection of who I am. So that works two ways. That can really work against you if consumers don't like you. And look, there are some consumers that absolutely fucking hate my guts.
But they like your cigars.
Sometimes, but they troll me really, really hard, but that's the way life is. But yeah, I mean, my marketing. I mean, I think one of the things that I do that's a little different than the other companies is I don't think the companies do a very good job at explaining the products to the consumers that are the most important. And what I mean about that is, I mean the customers who actually are paying attention and actually care, that actually want the information. Because look, the average cigar consumer doesn't. The average cigar consumer just wants something that tastes good, they find appealing, burns well, draws well, fits their budget, and is relatively available. Those that's what literally like 90+% of consumers want. Right. So it's really a small segment of the consumers that are like really actively engaged. Exactly. And look, it's true with everything, right? You look at wine. How many people drink wine versus the people that are really into wine?
Yeah.
The into wine, that's a very small, relatively small portion that's really into wine. And then the people that are like wine interested, that they know enough to be dangerous, which is kind of like where I'm at. That's like what, maybe 10%? It's a small
maybe
segment.
10. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very right. 10. I'm right. You're right. I'm probably being very generous with that. It might be as little as 3. So I think that if you're that consumer, I've always said this. I make cigars that I like, hoping that other people would like them. But I also understand that I'm making cigars for a guy that smoked 10+ cigars a day for 3+ decades, and definitely has a point of view of what's a good cigar versus a bad cigar versus an okay cigar versus a good cigar. So I'm making products for me, but I'm really kind of making products really for that customer, the customers that are like me. So that's my thing. And the thing is, those customers they're the hardest, to be honest with you, because they're the most fucking picky bastards on the planet. They really are. I mean, but they are. I've noticed the whole evening I've been staring at the ceiling. Have you noticed that?
I haven't noticed that.
What's wrong?
Really good. So I look like I'm looking at the camera?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, now I am, but normally I've been just staring at the ceiling. I don't even know what I'm waiting. I'm waiting for like apostles to come down or something. But anyways, yeah. I hope that the cult is earned, and only as long as I am worthy of having that follow.
Yeah.
I don't need it for I don't need it personally, commercially, career-wise.
Yeah.
But at the same time, no. Look, there's nothing better than seeing somebody that I know has been smoking cigars for 20, 30 years, is a really, really serious cigar smoker, to be on our brand.
Right.
That's like, I mean, that's mid. That's what it is. I mean,
Mid.
it is. I mean, it's the best possible compliment. Right? You're getting some fucking punk kid that's fucking smoking cigars for 4 years, smoked 2 a week, and thinks he knows jack everything. I could give a fuck about that guy. But that dude that's been smoking cigars for fucking 2+ decades, smoked literally hundreds of brands, thousands of cigars. Yeah,
I smoked my first premium cigar in 1996, and I don't know shit. I don't know shit. I'm
you're being a little hypercritical on that part.
Well, but
compared to the German Pop, you know more than 99.99.
I trust your palate more than I trust a lot of people out there.
Yeah, but the more I smoke, the more I try to learn about tobacco and production and things like that. The more I realize that I just want to, like Steve said, I just want to enjoy the time with that cigar, enjoy the flavors, enjoy the aromas. And if I don't, if within the first 3 or 4 puffs, if I don't enjoy it, I'm going to break it in half and I'm going to light something else.
For sure. Fuck that. And I've only been smoking
life's too short.
7, 8 years. And I do the same way. I'm dunk.
Yeah. Life's too short.
Steve, you talked about how many celebrities you met, whatever, 300 of them. Have any of them wanted to be endorsed by you or have you make them a cigar?
In the last 10 years, I've been approached 6 or 7 times.
Okay.
And all of them I turned down very politely. Because, look, it's an honor, obviously.
Yeah.
You could ask a much more prominent cigar maker with a much better brand with wider distribution and sales. There was one, though, I probably should have followed up with commercially. But it makes sense because the celebrity wasn't somebody that I listened to their music. I wasn't an anti-fan, but I wasn't a fan of. So it just, I don't know. The whole thing felt very disingenuous to me, but it was like serious, like A triple plus, like name, like.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, well, I can't say it because of NDAs, but just think of the biggest music pop female stars. It was one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I probably should have sucked it up because I know that we would have sold a fucking shit ton of cigars. That bitch had been smoking the cigars. Oh my god. Yeah, it would have been stupid, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't feel, it doesn't fit. You know what I mean? Where if it was at my previous company, I would have like jumped all over it, right? I would have like,
oh yeah.
But it's different. This is, I mean, I think that the one thing I want consumers to not understand. I think that when consumers buy our product, they're getting some sort of reflection of me in it. It's very personal.
Yeah,
so,
I agree 100%. I think that's true.
I think that, you know, you do some sort of collaboration with someone and you think about all the commercial benefits and the tie-ins and how much a wider reach you're going to get and all of those things, that from a business point of view, it makes tremendous sense. From a personal soul point of view, I don't know. It would have been a tough swallow, but honestly, I fucked that one. I should have said yes.
Well,
I don't even know. Let me say this. I don't even know if I could have said yes because we didn't get to that point. We got to the point that they were just exploring the possibility and the options.
Okay, so it was just kind of dipping toes in the water, and
Well, the reason why is because the vocalist was a huge Brûlé Blue fan.
Okay,
that was her favorite cigar. That was the cigar that she chose to smoke.
So she stopped smoking you once you turned her down?
No, because we still send them boxes every month.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
So
Look, you're
So
reaching.
you might be able to revisit it in the future.
it may work out one day in the future, possibly. You never know.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Steve, what would, and opportunities come along for each of us every day that, sometimes we turn down an opportunity that we look back at, because hindsight's 2020. We look back and we say, oh, I should have pursued that or whatever it may be. But if the stars were to align perfectly, and you may not even be able to articulate it, but I'm curious.
I can talk some shit, so keep going. I'm waiting to see where this goes.
Yes.
Well, if
Yes, Chris K.
what would the things be that would need to align in order for that perfect quote unquote celebrity product where it would just you would know within a very short period of time after just a few conversations, this is absolutely right and we need to do this? What would that look like or sound like to you?
I honestly don't have the answer, but I can think about a few criteria. I mean, the first one would be, is he or she like a really legit hardcore cigar smoker?
Yeah.
They're not like legit decades and decades in kind of cigar smoker. That would be so. Like, I'll tell you a celebrity in our business that was like a really legit cigar smoker. That was Armand Asante.
Oh yeah,
Asante. He had a brand. He was like a really legit cigar smoker.
Yeah, big
I
time.
can name for every Armand Asante I could probably name a dozen that have gotten in, or a dozen. Yeah, 10 to 1 of the ones that aren't legit. You know what I mean? That are just kind of there to capitalize. Look, I think that Eric Espinoza has gotten really lucky to have somebody like Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri really genuinely loves cigars.
Right.
So, I mean, and it's not usual, because the reality is most of these celebrities get into this. A few of them, like the B list and the B list is not even that's being too generous. D-lister people, they get into it. They think it's some way that they're going to make some money.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're not.
They smoke one cigar a month.
The money isn't there. It's just simply, it's not the kind of, even when you have a really successful brand that you pay a royalty on, it's nice to get the check, but it ain't changing anybody's life. We're just not that type of business. So one would be they have to be a really super legit cigar smoker. The other one, it would have to be somebody that I'm like really genuinely a fan of. And the problem is I'm not really much into celebrities, so there's not a lot of people that I'm like uber duper fans of. And there were a couple people, and I actually had meetings with both of them, and when I met them both, they were just absolute assholes. And I was like, I wish I never met them, because
that's a
the illusion, the image of them was way better than the reality. Which is, I'm sure how people feel to meet me, to be honest with you. But I mean, like real, just. I mean, one guy was just such a dick. It was unbelievable what a dick he was. And I loved his music, but guy's an absolute dick.
So let's go a little different here. Let's go a sports personality that used to play. And I got one in mind that I've been following. He smokes cigars on his show all day long.
Yeah.
Cam Newton. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I know Cam.
If he came up to you and said, hey, sat down with you and said, hey, I got my show. I do smoke. I smoke all the time. Would you like to do business with me?
No, probably not.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
He's a lot like
I like Cam Newton. He was a tank of a player. I mean, he was like before he came to New England, he was already kind of like
washed up,
beat up, right? But I mean, he was a hell of a player. But no, But the other thing you have to think about too is you don't just think about the celebrity part. You have to think about, does it benefit your brand? How does it help to elevate your brand? What consumer is that going to engage with who isn't currently a consumer? And how many consumers that you currently have are going to be alienated by the fact that you're working with this particular person to do this particular project?
Oh, that's a good. I hadn't thought about that. That's a good point.
It definitely it sours a little. It takes away. And look, and the other thing too is you also nobody says this out loud, but the reality is whenever there's any sort of these celebrity-oriented projects, those cigars just instantly cost $2 more at the retail register. That's just what they cost because the guy that's the celebrity that's involved, he's lending his name as celebrity to the project, so therefore he needs his VIG. So what are you doing that's going to justify that added VIG? What are you giving the consumer more than? You get the celebrity part, that's great, but what are you giving the consumer that's more than, that kind of overcomes that kind of bias? So we all have these things, right? There are products that there's products that I wish I didn't like, but I use them and I like them and therefore I use them, but I wish I didn't like them. All right. So, it's the same thing with consumers. So you got to overcome that consumer hurdle too, because when you do any project with look, I got some retailers that will not carry red meat lovers because
they're vegetarian.
It's associated with smoke in, because that's what it was originally as an exclusive. So there you go. There's the non-celebrity thing, but everything impacts how people make decisions as to what they spend their hard-earned dollars on.
So if you can go back the last 10 years, besides maybe picking up that celebrity that we talked about earlier, what would you change about your company and maybe your outlook on things?
What would it change? I think I wouldn't have involved my son when I started the company. I love John. He's a great man, great guy, great father. But I feel like I maybe derailed him a little. Not everybody is entrepreneurial. I know everybody thinks they can be, but that's not the reality. The reality is very few people are actually entrepreneurial. And not only do you have to be entrepreneurial in my business, but you also have to work with people in a lot of difficult places who don't have the same American sensibilities. That's the right word. I was going to say standards, but that's not fair. It's sensibilities, American sensibilities. And it makes it a very challenging thing. And it particularly makes it challenging for, I think, I don't want to give the wrong impression. When Cindy and I got married at the age of 18, we were very, very poor. Like EBT card poor before there were EBT cards, where they gave you the government check.
Yeah, food stamps.
Right. That you literally used to actually literally have to cash at the register. Very embarrassing experience, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you had a separate check that was for dairy, you had a separate check for grains.
Been there, brother. Been there.
Proteins. So, anyways, it was a very humiliating experience cashing your welfare checks to then be told that no, Frosted Flakes are not covered. Right?
Yep, I've been there.
Right. Yeah. Compared to now, you get an EBT card and you buy fucking cigarettes and lottery tickets on it, right? It's insanity to me. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. It was about
Your son.
yeah. So even though we started really poor, he was a baby. By the time he got to the years where he like really kind of understood what was going on, which I guess would probably be when you're like what 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing okay. So he grew up comfortable. And comfortable with American sensibilities is not how you deal with some fucking farmer in Nicaragua.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
It requires a different skill set. One that look, and it's one of the ones that's worked for me and worked against me in life. My bluntness works really well in a lot of areas. My bluntness is a total fucking catastrophe in any sort of corporate environment. When you think about my history, you know, coming from consumer to then be at JR at an executive level, to then be executive level of arguably the most successful, fastest growing cigar company, I should be the shoe-in candidate to run many of these major cigar companies.
Right.
When you actually wanted to do well, and you actually wanted to get ahead, and you actually wanted to change the dialogue, the difference, I'm your dude. But here's the problem. I'm a fat, schlubby dude that can't manage to go 100 words without saying fuck. And that is not the MBA blue bud that the corporate environment wants. So,
yeah, they want more polish and
absolutely. Look, I don't blame them. My wife wants more polish too, but she's gonna have to just suck it because that's what's happening. I mean, but so what I do for a living not only requires you to be entrepreneurial, but it requires you to be very aggressive. And I think that involving John in the business when that's not who he is, of no fault of his own, and not that there's anything wrong with who he is, but I think that I kind of waylaid him for 3-4 years from a better ultimate career path for him. So that would be something that I would definitely change. Because I don't think I would have involved John.
Okay. Well, I think I gotta ask Justy and Raul. Do you guys think it's time?
I mean,
I think we should ask Steve.
Steve, do you think it's time?
Absolutely. I have no fucking idea what I'm answering, but sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos.
We don't even know what the hell it is.
All right. This week's Numero de los Muertos, the number is approximately 12,000 people died
Ever?
during this particular historical period. I'll start with that. I'll give some more hints if you guys struggle along the way.
So, Steve, you know how to play. You've been on the show 36 times. So you know how to play this game, right?
Yeah, but not on the 300th episode. I mean, 12,000 people die all the time. We're on a planet of 8 billion people. So I mean, this is a really sketchy kind
This
of
was one particular historical period.
historical period.
Okay, I'm going to go with the 1900 Galveston hurricane.
That's a very good guess because I have been doing like natural disaster type events recently, but that is not this particular.
Come on, dude. 6,000 to 12,000 people roughly died in that thing. Give me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. This is such an open-ended question. We need more clues with this one.
All right, we'll say
12,000 people died on fucking Tuesday in America. I mean, come on.
It was not European Little Ice Age. It was not taste testing arsenic strip. Jay Davis, I love you, brother, but you need therapy. It was not the Crusades. It was not the Great Smog of London. It was not Neurogel. David Floyd. Oh, God bless you, brother. You are a sick individual. No, this was. I'm gonna go with, and this is a huge hint.
Worldwide.
No.
Look, I'm Googling now. I'm desperate.
United
the Great
States.
Smog of London was approximately fatalities were about 12,000. For the Great Smog of London,
we're looking at the United States of America,
Bubonic plague,
early 20th century.
Not the bubonic plague.
Not the
French
bubonic
Revolution.
plague. Not the French Revolution.
20th century.
COVID for not COVID first week.
French Revolution. How did that end up in the conversation?
It's Chris. Come on.
Yeah, that's your boy Chris. I mean, come on.
What are we talking about here?
We did the
Not
Dust
the
Bowl
Dust Bowl. We did the Dust Bowl.
Spanish flu.
Not Spanish flu.
Native American.
Nope.
Yeah, because the influenza was like 700,000 deaths.
Civil War.
This is early. This is United States, early 20th century.
So it's not influenza.
Not influenza. It's not disease or sickness or illness related.
Is it a war? Some kind of war?
Not a war.
Great Pennsylvania Dam Flood.
Not Great
I
Pennsylvania.
would say, what about a building project of some sort?
Not a building project.
That's a lot.
Not a natural disaster or hurricane or
wasn't a dam or anything.
No,
like that?
it was not a natural disaster or act of God, quote unquote.
It's definitely sexual frustration. Come on, 12,000. Come on.
Well, what was happening in the early 20th century, United States? What was happening during the early to mid?
I mean, look, you went through the Great Depression. Well, the Great Depression was going on. You went through the stock market crash.
Yep.
The Roaring '20s before that.
It wasn't a war.
And then you legged it. Then you legged into World War II, right?
Well, there was something in between there, though, Steve.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of shit in between.
No, but there was a major thing that happened in the United States
between the World War I and World War II.
Between World War I and World War II, major thing that happened in the United States that lasted a number of years.
The industrial age.
Not the industrial age.
No, because that was earlier.
Prohibition. And what specifically about prohibition?
Mobsters.
Yes.
12,000 people died from mob hits during the
estimates are just over 12,000 murders were committed annually during prohibition in the United States of America alone. And there were thousands more in Canada.
All right, just stop. I'm going to leave it to the commenters. But hey, first off, who sponsors this segment?
Nobody.
We don't have any sponsors.
And I understand why. Okay, because this. I mean, really? You got some random ass shit out? They're like, okay, we're going to suck up 10 minutes of a podcast on this random ass shit.
Well,
I hope the hell of anyone guessing.
After almost 300 episodes, it's hard to come up with new shit for ways for people to die. It's tough. You gotta dig deep.
Have you been doing this since day one? No way.
Since I don't think it was from episode 1, but it was very, very. It was within the first 10 episodes.
Really?
So wow. It's been a long time.
That's a long feature.
It's hard to come up with new ways and interesting and unique ways for people to die.
Dude, I can only come up with so many fucking pigtails. I'm there.
So yeah, prohibition just in the United States alone, during the years of prohibition, it's estimated that the mob killed over 12,000 people in the pursuit of dollars, getting liquor from one place to another.
So the next one will be in the 70s when the mob had a big burst when they were killing people in New York.
Yeah, it might be. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So that was this week's Numero de los Muertos.
I don't even know what Duque expects. Of course, it's very dark. It's about fucking death. I mean, you know,
Yeah, it's about death. I mean,
Not everything is fucking sunshine and flowers, my friend. You live in Hawaii, it's rotted your brain. Yeah.
It's not all about double rainbows and
come to where I am and just feel fucking.
He's calling bullshit.
Cold, you know.
So somebody got one of our viewers called "No way in hell the mob killed 12,000 people combined all time." I don't know. I'm just going off of what the Google apparatus tells me.
Yeah, you get a Chat GPT grok.
Yeah,
even know if it's even.
This is
Dave Floyd says, "Go sun your butthole, enjoy life." How about that?
During Prohibition, the mafia was responsible for a significant number of deaths, with estimates suggesting over 12,000 murders committed annually by 1926 due to gang violence. One particular.
I'm not supposed to read everything I read off my phone. I'm a Nazi, so stop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There you go. Come on. And that answer, Matt Michaels. I'm going to say
yes. He wants
Memo Paris Inverness. Creamy, woodsy, really interesting. Yeah, Memo Paris Inverness.
Okay. Okay. I like it. You and Ben Lee from he's Ben's part of that.
Is he into that shit?
Yeah, he's big into fragrances. Huge.
Yeah, it's really weird. I got into it in like mid 90s. Cigar maker who I won't name, who's still around. He's really into fragrances, and he started. It was really interesting because you really pay attention to what you're smelling. You start to really try to zone in on, what's the difference between cedarwood, sandalwood, and gaiac. You know what I mean?
Oh wow!
Can I tell the differences between these three wood smells? And so yeah, no, I don't know why I got into it. I think it also kind of shares some of the same thing with cigars. Thousands and thousands of options made by a whole bunch of individuals. I mean, you start to like there's certain perfumers that you follow kind of their career. Well, they made this for Tom Ford, and then they made this over for Dior, and then they made this over here for Xerjoff, and yada yada yada. And you kind of let me try these things. I don't know. It's it's a very, for a fat white redneck, it's very metrosexual. But yeah.
Oh, I agree. And David Floyd called it just the Boveda dude. So yeah, that would be Nate Beck from Boveda. Has given us a great deal of advice also on fragrances, and I have
fall, the spring, which ones to use,
and I've tried to heed his advice. And
let me give you one piece of advice.
Okay,
fragrances cost a fucking fortune.
Yeah, they do.
And look, everybody on YouTube is going to tell you that this is the most amazing thing ever. What you need to do to control your costs is you really need to you need to go to Decant X. You need to go to Micro Perfume. You need to go to ScentSplit.com, and then you can buy literally 2 milliliter samples of things. So you can try all these different interesting things, but you don't end up spending because look, and granted, you pay way more for your 2 milliliter sample than if you bought 2 milliliters in a full 50 milliliter bottle, but you buy 2 milliliters for $14.99, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the cost of a cigar. So you buy that, and that way it gives you a way to try it out, to sample it, to experience, to see if it works on your skin, to see whether you like it, to see. So if you're going to get into fragrance, you absolutely must get into what they call decants.
Yeah.
Decants or splits. That's what they call them.
So I take my son to Nordstrom Rack from time to time to, buy clothes for him. And at the checkout line, they have a whole rack of little tiny samples of 30 or 40 different high-end brand name fragrances. Just pick out a couple of those, bring them home. And what I do, I pick out a couple, bring them home. My wife tells me what she likes.
Exactly.
And
That's what matters.
That's what I end up going out and buying the full dose of.
I could give a fuck what I smell like. The wife's got.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Then I get it. Yeah,
I don't give a shit. My wife says I like it.
I don't care what my wife thinks. It's whether I like it or not. I'm the one that's got a fucking spit the stench all day.
My perfect cologne would be cigar smoke.
Cigar smoke.
Well, actually, I actually logged into YouTube so I could. Lord Garth, I wear brulee in the morning and Papa Saka in the evening.
That's my boy. That's perfect.
What a suck up. I love it. It's perfect.
That's perfect.
I absolutely love it. All right, let's jump into. Oh, wait. Did we do the close? Yeah, we did. Let's jump into the lightning round.
Wait a minute. What was the bad booze? Where do we get to whatever the bad booze disclosure is?
Actually, it is time to reveal this week's Spirit of Mystery. So brought to us by Postani Cigars. Now, I have since moved on to the Angels Envy private selection, which is fantastic. And I've had actually a lot of.
He's trying to keep up with you, Steve.
I'm a little drunk, actually, but I don't care. But whatever the Spirit of Mystery was,
you got to backpedal that with the gummies, right? You got to backstop it.
Yeah, exactly.
The booze, and then
that's where
Justy right goes. Before you decide you're going to go.
Yeah,
you're just going to do a really.
Justy is the hookup.
So you remember?
So this is. Oh yeah, that Spirit of Mystery sample. It was the
worst out of the bunch.
It was the worst out of the bunch. And there's 1, 2, 3. So this is the fifth out of the sampler. It's the final sample out of the sampler. They're only 1 ounce pours, but this was so bad. It smelled terrible and it tasted terrible. So
sell it, baby.
As far as a guess, I couldn't even.
Don't even guess.
Yeah, don't even guess. All right, let's zoom that in. That is Hudson. I've never even heard of it. All right, Hudson Baby Bourbon Spirit Drink. I mean, what the fuck is that? Hudson Baby Bourbon Spirit Drink.
So here's the problem. The problem that we have is we are being buried under really piss poor choices.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid and I would go to the potato chip aisle, I had basically 3 choices. I had potato chip flavored potato chips, I had barbecue, and I had sour cream and onion.
There you go.
Those are the 3 choices I had. Now I go to the potato chip aisle, and it's now literally what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even explain the amount of anxiety of choosing the flavor of potato chips. There's like literally so many potato chips. Paralysis.
Yeah, it is paralysis. Yes, exactly.
So what's happened is the same thing that's happened to us in craft beer. It's the same thing that look. This is where the problem that I have is a cigar.
Boutique cigars is the same way.
It's the same thing that's happened in all booze.
Yep.
We now have a myriad of so many mediocre choices.
Yeah.
That it is so hard for you to sift through what's actually worthy of your time, dollars, and attention.
Exactly.
And honestly, and I know the Hudson people are going to hate me, but I'm not going to do a cigar for Hudson, so fuck them. I haven't had anything from them that I've been particularly enthralled with. I've had some things that have been good, have been decent. But I've had nothing in particular from Hudson Distillery that's been really like crazy good.
This is one of the worst spirits I've ever had in my life. It's terrible.
So happy
it's really, really bad. So I'm glad that I switched over to the Angels Envy private selection because this Hudson is
really
watch that flavor, challenge, right? You have like when you come to like the spirit where like you're drinking the Angels Envy, right?
Yeah.
Angels Envy has been great now. It was great 10 years ago. It was great 10 years ago, right? That's what makes Angels Envy great. This is the problem that you have when you're a small cigar company. You're fighting against that. You're trying to break in against the Angels Envy. you're not just scrapping with all the other pissant people that are to your left and your right and a little below you and a little above you. What you're really trying to do is you're trying to fight for, hey, can I be put into the Davidoff realm? Can I be put into the Drew Estate realm? Can I be put into the STG realm and Altadis and so on? Can I compete with those heavyweights?
Right.
And the problem you have is I'm at the point now that if I never had another craft bourbon the rest of my life, I would be okay.
Yeah.
If I never had another craft beer in my life, because for every 100 craft beers I've drank, maybe 3 of them were worth revisiting. There's a reason. There's a reason why Modella becomes Modella.
Yep. Exactly.
Or go on the higher end of the spectrum. There's a reason why Chimay becomes Chimay.
Yeah.
There's not like there's not a whole bunch of other fucking monks brewing beer out there, right? I mean, what else they got to do? They're not getting any other satisfaction. So, there's a reason why Chimay becomes Chimay.
Yeah.
And therein lies the challenge. Why should a consumer smoke your cigar instead of a Davidoff, or instead of a Monte Cristo, or instead of a Romeo, or instead of a Padron, or instead of a whatever? We can list off a bunch of different legacy brands that have earned their chops, and therein lies the challenge. So whenever I don't give advice to new companies, because my advice is just really terribly brutal. And it's not doesn't make them happy. But every once in a while, one of them will be stupid enough to ask for my opinion. And when they ask for my opinion, I'm very happy to share it. And, one of the first questions I ask is, why?
Right.
What's the purpose of this? What makes it different than A, B, or C?
What gap is it filling?
What consumer are you addressing that you feel as though isn't being addressed or served?
Yeah.
Because look, a good cigar with a good name, with a good packaging, and a good band is not enough. It just simply isn't. I mean, look, it's the entry that maybe you get tested, maybe you get tried. But it's not enough to actually engage a consumer long term. And I mean, I think a lot of companies, they don't think in those ways. They think more from a product widget kind of perspective. I'm going to make a really super, super, super nice product without actually identifying who might be the potential customer and what need is it actually serving, and who is it who can potentially find favor with that product. Look, I have some products that are real copycat products. I'm going to say right now, if you're a Padron smoker, Sin Compromiso is a wonderful gift, right? Now, would I ever say that to a Padron smoker? Hey, you smoke Padron, so therefore you really ought to try Sin Compromiso.
I think you just did.
That is marketing.
I'm saying that on a podcast, but that's not a marketing thing that I would ever.
Yeah. You're not going to put that on a flyer or
it's not even going to be my pitch in a store.
Right.
But I also understand that there's a generation of 32, 34, 38-year-olds who are going to more identify with Sin Compromiso as a brand than they're going to identify with another legacy brand per se.
Yeah, because they'll recognize that flavor and aroma profile.
Right. They're not. So look, we universally as consumers, we don't want our grandfather's cigar.
Right.
We always want to discover our own way.
Yeah.
We want to find our own thing. Right. And look, and we all do it. I mean, going back to the spirits conversation, I love Noah's Mill. I feel like, that's a really little bit of a unique thing. It's, one distillation, it's the discards, it's this, it's that. Yeah. So I really absolutely love it. And I also like kind of the branding message that's in it.
Yeah.
So that makes it something that I like to share with people. Hey, you know, you have, you know, Willets, they have their pot still. It's their #1 seller. It's their big boom, boom, boom. But on the fringes, on the spicier, leaner end, they bottle something called Rowan's Creek. And then on the more syrupy, sugary side, they bottle this thing called Noah's Mill.
Yeah.
I really like Noah's Mill. There's a story that goes along with it where I feel as a consumer, it's in, look, am I some sort of fucking Houdini magician? Fucking, you know, what's the guy that bent the spoons? The Great Gretzky I can't remember his name. Johnny Carson. But anyways, I feel some sort of weird kind of identifiable connection with the fact that, oh, I know this fact about this particular brand, so therefore it helps to, you know, promote it. So therefore, here I am. I'm a whore for Willets Noah's Mill.
That was the Amazing Kreskin, by the way.
Amazing Kreskin. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump into the lightning round, brought to us by J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 114-year-old El Reloj cigar factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right. So, Steve, I'm curious, and if you can name your top 3, I would love to hear this. What are your top 3 Western movies of all time?
Whew. Boy, you're really putting me on the spot.
I know. And even if you can only give your best, your favorite Western cowboy movie of all time.
Okay. So first off, you got to go with John Wayne, right? I mean, John Wayne is like crazy. So I'm trying to think of John Wayne. Cockburns, right? What was the movie where he was Sheriff Cockburn?
Oh, that was True Grit.
Yeah, True Grit.
Mr. Cockburn. Yeah.
That was a great movie. I really, really, really enjoyed that.
I like the Rio Grande.
Let me think.
Rio Grande was really good.
Yeah, Rio Grande was a good. Look, he had a lot of great movies, right? I mean, so let me think. What else? Let me break. A little slow, a little tedious, but you gotta love Clint Eastwood in The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, right?
Oh, the spaghetti westerns. Yes, absolutely. Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Absolutely.
And if you want to go slow and tedious, but a great movie, The Unforgiven.
Unforgiven
by him.
Unforgiven, yeah, that was a great one. What about The Magnificent Seven? West. But if I had to pick my favorite Western film of all time, I have 2.
Okay.
One is a relatively modern interpretation, courtesy of Quentin Tarantino, with Django Unchained.
Yes.
So Django Unchained, I don't know why. There's something about that movie
I like that one a lot.
Yeah. But the #1 Western movie of all time with no competitors, no competition, is Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles is the #1 Western movie that was ever made. It was by far the best.
Excuse me while I whip this out. Oh, yes.
Well, the white women in it.
I love that.
That's a great show.
I could recite that movie line for line.
Name that one. Oh, I see you there, Brian Shupp. I see you there.
Yes, I could recite that movie line by line. I absolutely love that movie.
Could Blazing Saddles even be made?
Never in a million years would they make that movie today.
I always think about like All in the Family. All in the Family was hysterical, right? But could All in the Family or could the Jeffersons be made in modern times? Good Times. Remember Good Times? Oh my God.
I love Good Times. That was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. I absolutely love that show.
J.R. Davis has a good list. Look at that
They
one.
couldn't make it today.
J.R. Davis's list.
Outlaw Josie Wales, Once
That's
Upon a Time in the West, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great list of movies. And I saw David Floyd also listed Tombstone. Tombstone was a really
Tombstone, very, very good. I like Open Range. Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall. I like Open Range a lot.
Yep.
You know, kind of underrated, but I like that movie. Raleigh, what's a lightning round question you got?
Let's go with what technology. No, I don't like that one. Who would you put on Mount Rushmore?
Oh, fuck, I hate that question. What does that even mean? Who do I put on Mount Rushmore?
They don't have to be a politician. Who would your fucking four faces be on Mount Rushmore?
Like for politics or
No,
for
in general. If you could do your own fucking
just the world,
yes,
life.
Wow, I don't even know. This is a crazy ass question. This is one of the reasons why I should be one of those guys saying, "Hey, what are we going to talk about? What are you going to send me? What are the questions you're going to ask?"
you would have forgotten by now anyway.
So
That's why we don't send questions ahead of
I can find a fucking prepare. I mean, am I gonna put up Mount Rushmore? I have no goddamn clue.
David
So who's
Floyd.
on Mount Rushmore now? George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and Theodore Roosevelt. Right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Those are the four
Pretty good.
people.
Pretty-
So
that's pretty damn good list.
yeah, no, that's what I mean. So you gotta replace those guys.
I can't see replacing any of those.
Right, so then you go the other way. You put fucking Happy Gilmore on there, right? If you're not going to outgoat the goats, you're just going to go totally absurd. I mean, wait, you're going to put fucking Pamela Anderson on there.
No.
Days. I mean, who else are you going to put on there? Oh, wait.
All right, here we go.
Time out.
Let me rephrase it.
I was a teenager in the 70s. Yeah, late 70s.
Yeah.
Scratch Pamela Anderson and put Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah.
Farrah Fawcett belongs there more than Pam Anderson.
I jerk
Yeah.
out there a lot.
Unless we're talking about Adrian Barbeau's tits. Adrian Barbeau's tits should be on Farrah Fawcett.
And
That's what we need to do.
I'll go Jacqueline Smith because I was into brunettes. I'll go Jacqueline Smith.
You stop at Farrah Fawcett.
She was actually my favorite Charlie Angel too. Jack.
Yeah, Jacqueline Smith, favorite Charlie's Angel. Absolutely. Yeah. I was always into brunettes.
Actually, I think she's actually the only one of the three I can name.
So it's Farrah Fawcett, Jacqueline Smith, and
Was it Farrah Fawcett in that?
It wasn't Bo Derek.
no, it was
What about Derek?
Charlene Tilton.
Dude, that film 10.
That was pretty.
Oh,
good.
forget
I must
about
have hit the pause button and
forget
rewound
about
that film a million times.
Yeah. There was a quote from one of the Comedy Central roasts, Greg Giraldo, and I think about it. It's like you've caused more seed to be spilled than Muhammad Ali at a bird feeder. And that's one of the best lines I've ever heard from a roast. And that just fits.
Dude, that hubbub. You know what's weird about that is we have so much media now that nothing is a touchstone the way it used to be. What I mean by that is like that Bo Derek 10 for every boy that was between the age of 12 and 18.
That's true.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just boom. I mean,
Yeah.
what Phoebe, what's her name?
Phoebe
in the
Cates.
pool, coming out in
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Absolutely.
Like, oh my God. Seminal moment. Right?
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah. Those are just moments that we remember,
Right.
now that we're in our 50s and 60s.
And now there's so much media. And you're
Oh,
so like
Yeah.
stretched so thin across all these various platforms. I don't know if look, and I guess this is a question for the Gen Zers out there. Is there something like that that's like a cultural touchstone moment media wise that like I said, like we just said, Phoebe Cates coming out of the pool at Fast Times at Ridgemont High. We all instantly, like, we see the scene, we know the scene,
Yep,
we remember it completely.
Yeah.
We remember the whole thing, the embarrassment in the bathroom that ensued. Right.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I agree with you, Steve, that I think now it's like every 24 hours there's something different. There's something new. And the Fast Times at Ridgemont High or the Bo Derek in 10, those were iconic moments that lasted for years.
Even still, like to this day, I remember the first time I went to the theater and I saw Star Wars. And I remember just like how impactful it was.
Oh, yeah.
To see Star Wars for the very, very first time.
Same.
That literally no sequel of the various 8 that have come after it have been even close to the impact of seeing that very first Star Wars. And now what's funny about it is if you watched the original Star Wars, episode 4, I guess at this point.
Yeah, 1977.
It is so cheesy.
It is.
Yeah, it's like crazy how cheesy a film it was. But I remember just the same way. I remember the gut punch I had when I came out of the movie theater after seeing 7. Do you remember the movie 7?
Yeah. Oh, brutal.
And the head.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Oh my god! I remember coming out of that theater going, "Oh my god! What did I just watch?"
Saw was another one of those movies. The first
Saw?
time I seen Saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
Notable smokables.
no, I one more. I got to do one. So if you look back at all the famous fictional families,
Oh god, these questions are tough.
what fictional family would you want to be a member of?
Archie Bunker.
It could be Archie. It could be All in the Family. It could be the Waltons. It could be Goodfellas. It could be The Godfather. What fictional family would you want to be a member of?
Huh. Wow, this is tough. I mean, look, being the lazy bastard that I am, I'm gonna go with Fast Times at what was that?
Fast Times
Bel Air.
Hi, baby.
Oh, Bel Air, right? What was that?
Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Oh, there you go. There you
Look,
go.
honestly, if I had to pick one, and I know I'm gonna get shot in it, but I want to be part of the Cartwrights, man.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I watched all those episodes with Hop Sing and fucking Hoss and
Yes.
Little Joe.
Yes.
And, I don't know, man. I wanted to be a Cartwright, man. I wanted to be like a cross between the fat guy, which was what, Adam? Adam was the fat guy?
Yeah.
Adam was the fat guy, Hoss. And then what was the gunslinger? Adam.
Adam, yeah.
I wanted to be somewhere between Adam and Hoss. I didn't want to be quite Adam. He was a little bit too much of a stick in the mud. And who was the fourth brother? See, here's the funny part. I remember Adam, I remember Hoss, and I remember
Little Joe.
But wasn't there a fourth one in?
I think it wasn't it Johnny?
Johnny.
I feel like it was Johnny, but I could be getting that wrong.
I gotta Google that now.
Yeah, I do too. I don't remember.
Somebody said earlier the Addams Family.
Oh, Addams Family. Yes. Uncle Fester. I would love to be Uncle Fester.
I want to be Lurch.
Oh, you want to? Well, of course you want to be Lurch, or you want to be the Thing.
Just the hands.
Just the hands. Yeah.
You can't. What are you drinking off if you're just a hand?
All right, let's jump into.
No. There were only 3 sons. It was Adam, Hoss, and Little Joe.
Little Joe. Okay, so there
was some other character
there was some wisecracking like best friend.
Yeah, there was some other dude. Man,
yeah,
the whole thing, the Ponderosa.
Oh, I love it.
Virginia City, Nevada.
Yeah,
you know, Ben Cartwright. He was the widowed patriarch. Lauren Green. He was like the strong, wise father figure. I'm reading now from Google. Known for his fairness and compassion.
Yeah, that's there was something about that back then. All right, let's jump into this week's notable smokable. So Steve, we talk about this on every show. Each week we name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. This could be a cigar that's been on the market for many decades that we smoked for the first time in a very long time, or a cigar that's brand new to the market that we smoked for the first time ever. Obviously, you're smoking mostly your own stuff, but if you get a chance from time to time to jump outside of the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust portfolio, is there something you smoked recently that stood out to you?
This is going to be embarrassing.
Not embarrassing at all.
All right, I'm just going to come clean. It was a fucking Rocky Patel ALR.
Oh, that was a good cigar.
I was like really genuinely surprised.
That was a good cigar. I like that one.
I went into it wanting to hate it, but I couldn't. Yeah, it was surprisingly not sucky.
I dig the honesty. I absolutely.
I don't know. Is that advertising worthy?
Hey, I love it. I absolutely.
No, it genuinely surprised me. It was a really, really good cigar, and I didn't. It delivered way more than I expected, and which is the opposite. Look, when you go to a cigar that's like super uber hype, and then you get it, you're like, So, but obviously this was a cigar that came with zero hype, or maybe it did, and I was unaware of it. But no, that was a cigar that impressed me. I'd say Tangas don't suck. I'm on my third one.
Yeah.
These are okay. We're gonna sell a lot of this shit. We've already sold a lot, but I think people are gonna be really, really happy with this one.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing. So you're taking red meat lovers and you're making it spicier, but you're also making it a box press, which makes it milder.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this kind of weird. It's kind of like it's counterintuitive. It doesn't even make sense. But I like. I'm smoking from the red meat lovers that we just got delivered, and I'm on cigar number 12, 13.
Okay.
Three tonight, and I've been thoroughly pleased. And that's the thing that you do everything you can, but ultimately, when it comes to large production numbers, you're kind of hoping to the cigar gods that they don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thankfully they fucked it. Look, you can go to Rocky Cigars right now and order some Fortenga fuck ups. They fucked up something really, really early in production. Not that the cigars they made were bad, but they just weren't Fortengas. So
Yeah.
I'm very pleased with how this product turned out. I actually have like a real series of bangers this year. We had the Year of the Duque, which was really, really good. And then we have this Fortenga that's really, really good. And then this Canalam that we're releasing is really, really Canalam special. As a side note, that UB33, which is a smaller format, a U-boat,
Yep.
That we did for Rockies was really, really interesting. In the samplers that will eventually be released, if ever I can get fucking proper documentation to allow the packaging of the sampler from multiple manufacturers, which is proving to be a problem. But that word of Saka is really interesting. I think the cigar I'm most afraid of this year is probably the 10th Jubilee. I think the 10th Jubilee is probably which 10th anniversary cigar should be like the slam dunk cigar.
Yeah, it's a milestone, so I can understand you feeling a little trepidation about it.
That cigar, I'm a little bit. I got some trepidation about.
Yeah,
I'm not sure consumers are going to. I'm going to have to do a lot of education on that one before we launch it.
Okay.
So they understand what the cigar is, because the easiest thing to do is to take on something that you're doing like really, really well, that's super uber popular.
Yeah.
Extend Brulee Blues Liga, extend Nikkei Rita Blacks Liga, something like that is like the safe bet. But for the 10th Jubilee, I did something that's just totally fucking out of the box. It's like, doesn't taste like anything we've ever made before, totally unique, medium plus, so it doesn't really get the strength junkie guys on board. Did it only in a Corona Gorda format, so that kind of like crosses out like 90% of the market by doing a format that isn't a Robusto or a Toro or a Gordo. But that's the one product I have this year that I have. I love the cigar. It's the reason it's in the box. I think it's the perfect encapsulation of our 10 years. Because, I mean, look, when we started Dunbarton, I mean, the expectation was that I was going to release a counterpart to Liga Provide. And it's not how we started the company. We started the company with Sober Mesa. So this is the same way. It's like not taking the easy win, but taking the kind of, I don't know, road around fucking.
Yeah, it's a new path. It's a scratch recipe.
I don't know. I mean, I know I've had maybe 7 or 8 people reach out to me and tell me it's one of the best cigars they've ever smoked, which is very nice.
Yeah.
But the people that have been telling me that are not necessarily the people that I really want to hear from.
Well,
eventually
I think you're going to hear from everybody that it's probably.
I'm going to hear from everybody, but I'm a little bit nervous about that drop. Where
I understand, but I think the people, because I think there are a handful of people that, because we all have these people in our lives that we genuinely care about their feedback and their opinions. And I have a feeling when you get the feedback and opinions from those people that you genuinely care about, you're going to be happy with it.
Yeah. Thank you, Ken. I see that comment. Ken? Yes, Salida Red. I think Salida Red was a really good release. I think it was a nice cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a few tunneling issues with a few of them that we've been struggling with, but I like the blend of Salida Red. I think it's a good tribute to the original Sober Mesa Cervantes Fino.
Yep.
It was really the precursor to the cigar. I think Salida Red is an improvement on the Cervantes Fino personally. So
yeah,
it's nice to see people appreciating that cigar.
Yeah.
But look, I made it hard on consumers. Think about it. I mean, what do I have? So I have You're the Duque. I have Salida Red. I have the Red Meat Lovers for Tonga. I have the Muertos Saka. It's going to be in the sample, which is really a strong cigar. You've got Kanalam that has never been tasted by anybody. It's going to be tried for the first time this year.
Right.
I have a couple of Donderma variations that are going in a versus pack of the Donderma versus the early years blend, but in a kind of a Corona Gorda format. And regardless of what Ronnie Haitius says, he's wrong. Golden Child is the better of the two blends than over Donderma personally.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's a better blend. I know Donderma outsells Golden Child, but Donderma had a 4-year head start.
Right.
Donderma's fine, but personally, if I had to choose between two, I'd rather smoke the Golden Child Liga.
Yeah, I agree.
Over the Donderma Liga.
Yep.
The Donderma Liga for me, it's a little too swanky. It's a little too sophisticated. It's a little too balanced. It's a little too nuanced. And I know all those things are good things, but I'm a guy that doesn't look good in a suit, right? So, I mean, so a little bit rough around the edges works a little better for me. The golden child blend delivers that. What else? I got Leche Burra, that's Cigars Daily.
Oh yeah.
I got Canalam.
Yep.
Canalam is a banger. That one I didn't make enough of. And look, earlier this year released a really interesting cigar. First one I've ever done with Ecuador Sumatran was the Fiddlehead. I mean, it seems like a distant memory now. Particularly to me, it seems so like last century. But Fiddlehead was a banger of a cigar. Now, granted, if you don't like Sumatran, you're not going to like Fiddlehead. But if you like Sumatran, I think Fiddlehead was a really, 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 really good one. And you understand that's coming off from. I mean, we just launched that FSG blend for our friends at Corona. That was in December, right?
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago.
And luckily for them, they're 100%. I don't know if they're 100% sold out, but they've been screaming for months.
I think they're 100% sold out.
They need more cigars. They're getting about another 1,000 boxes next month, I think. They're in a container right now. But the problem is there's going to be a long wait before the next release of FSG, because I just got the new FSG tobacco. In fact, I literally had a conversation today about it, and they're literally it's just been transferred to Nicaragua. It's totally raw. It's cured, but it's not been fermented at all. So I'm gonna. The thing is, the fermentation of that FSG tobacco to make it work for that Black Angus is very, very particular how we actually do that. Because, I've never liked that tobacco very much. Sorry, Jeff. I love you. But that tobacco has never particularly worked for my palate.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a challenge to take a material that maybe isn't the material you would choose off a table or out of a bodega or a warehouse.
Yeah, it's like a waiting game.
Yeah, but we have. I think we've cracked the code on it from how to process that tobacco. But I think we've done a very good job of. I think if you like FSG, I think you really like the Black Angus.
Yeah.
I think if you don't like FSG, you will still like the Black Angus, which is really kind of the goal. Is how can you make the people that love the flavor of FSG still like the brand,
right?
But also make the people that don't typically like FSG. Is there an FSG cigar that would actually appeal to them?
Yeah,
and I think we've managed to kind of cut that look. But I kind of where my head is going on this is the fact that I think about new stuff we're launching this year, but I mean FSG was literally December 7th, December 8th.
Yeah, it was like 9 months ago, 8 months ago.
Yeah, I mean it feels like it was ancient history, but it's literally just a drop in the time bucket.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I got a whole bunch of other shit. What's also happening? We got Emerald Fish coming out from our friends at Smoke Inn.
Yeah.
I have some very interesting things coming out for the Great Smoke next year.
Nice.
Yeah. So I got a lot of irons in the fire. There's a lot of stuff.
It never stops. Justy, what's your notable smokable this week?
This week I had Cigar Club exclusive from like 4 years ago. It was Rodriguez cigars, left Finland. Yeah.
Nice. Raleigh, what's your notable this
Mine
week?
was Leaf by Oxford 10-year broadleaf.
Oh, nice. Mine was actually an oldie but a goodie. It's a cigar I've been a fan of for as long as I can remember. the Oliva Serie G Robusto. It's just a reliable cigar. I like it. It's Cameroon wrapper. It's reliable every time I smoke it. The consistency is very good. So that's one of those cigars, Oliva Serie G Robusto, that just it's very reliable and consistent. So that was my notable this week.
And to be totally self-serving, I'm gonna go with. I know this is not gonna be a shocker, but I smoked a Brulee Blue yesterday morning. Fuck, that's a good cigar.
Yes,
It is.
It is really like it's like a genuinely like good cigar. I don't know. Look, I start most of my days heavier than that. I don't know why. I was like, you know what? I know why. Because I sat my ass down in the chair to play Borderlands 2, and I know it's Borderlands 2, right? It's like ancient.
Still a great game.
I just want to shoot the heads of some fucking bandits. I just want to snipe some melons and make them explode. So anyway, I woke up at 6 a.m. I came over here to my office, my home office, and I popped up Borderlands 2, and there was a Brulee Blue sitting in the baggie on the side table. Yeah, fuck it, I'll smoke it. Because in order for me to get up for a pop of socket, I have to move my ass like 25 feet, which is like might as well be climbing Mount Everest. And so I smoked a Brulee Blue. I'm like, man, I actually understand why we sell a lot of that shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. That's a really so that was my notable smoke of the week. Totally self-serving choice.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
All right, some coming attractions next Monday night, August 18th. We have Eric from Oak Glen Tobacconist, who now has moved all the way from California to
North Carolina.
South Carolina.
Right. Well, time out. Say that again. I didn't know that.
So So Eric Drazen from Oak Glen Tobacconist moved all the way from California to
North or South Carolina.
It's one of the Carolinas. I don't remember which of the it's one of the Carolinas. So it's a major move for him.
Yeah. I guess somebody in my sales department should tell me this shit.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Look, Oak Glen has always been a big DTT supporter.
Yeah.
Which is really which is hard to do in California because we don't do the whole weird bullshit invoicing to ourselves to try.
So now instead of California, now they're Southeast United States. So a way better market.
No taxes.
Way better taxes, way better everything. So
it's everything. Look, I've always said this about California. Absolutely gorgeous state.
Yep.
Beautiful. But it's been totally ruined by California. So
I would never live there. No. There's no amount of money that could make me.
And here's the sad part: in California, there are some very reasonable people, but just because of the way the gerrymandering and whatnot has worked out, that it's basically become a one-party rule kind of state.
It's
kind of become a mess as a result of that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then following that, August 25th is my youngest son's birthday. So we will not have a show because I'm going to celebrate my son's birthday with him. And then September 1st is Labor Day. So that's a holiday. No show for How About That Cigar on September 1st. And then we will return on September 8th live at Perfect Dash in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota.
The only Dunbarton tobacco store in Minnesota.
The only,
but without me, look, I don't even know if they've ordered anything in fucking years. So who knows?
I'm pretty sure he's kept up with his orders. Yeah. So Patrick O'Brien and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust and Perfect Dash in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota.
And there's another event coming up in the next couple months.
Thank you very much for reminding me. Cigars and Baseball. Live at CHS Field in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is the home of the St. Paul Saints, September 18th, 2025, which is a Thursday in September. So this is a fantastic multi-vendor cigar event. There are dozens of great cigar brands, in addition to some of the best local breweries and distilleries in Minnesota.
And food.
Fantastic restaurants with great food and live baseball happening on the field at CHS Field while you're enjoying your premium hand-rolled cigars at CHS Field. So go to cigarsbaseball.com. Once again, that is cigarsbaseball.com. You can buy your tickets today and enjoy a fantastic event that includes premium cigars, great drink, great food, and some of the best people in the world of premium cigars.
And we'll be broadcasting live.
And how about that cigar? For the last, 5 years, we've been broadcasting live, and we will again this year be broadcasting live throughout the day. And we will have some fantastic giveaways where all of the proceeds of our giveaways will go to the Miracle League. In addition to all of what you pay for your tickets goes to the Miracle League, which puts together baseball facilities for kids with disabilities.
Yep.
So it is a fantastic cause. You do not want to miss it. One of the best cigar events in the Midwest.
Yeah, for sure.
So do not miss it.
The only thing I know about baseball is that we're 4 games back of the Blue Jays. It's the only thing I know.
So you're a Sox fan, right?
Yeah, casual.
Yeah. Casual. Yeah. It's I think all of us as I mean, if you're a Sox fan or a Yankee fan, you're doing way better than if you're a Twins fan like me.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's the same. It's
what are the Twins saying? The Twins even hit 50 wins this year. What? 52?
Actually,
no, the Twins.
The Twins have St. Paul Saints players up there now.
The Twins actually. This is the sad part. As bad as the Twins are this season, the Twins have the longest winning streak in Major League Baseball for the 2025 season.
How was that? When did that happen?
We had a 13-game winning streak
early in the season.
Wow.
And yet we are still 11 games behind the Detroit Tigers.
Where are the Brewers at right now? I know the Brewers.
Brewers are lights out. Brewers are killing everybody in the league. Brewers are absolutely.
I mean, the Brewers have won the last 10 games that I know of, maybe more.
I think they've won at least 9 in a row, if not 10 or 11. Yeah, they're playing incredible baseball. But yeah, if you're a Red Sox fan or a Yankee fan, you're anywhere between 4.5 and 6.5 games back.
I don't care what you guys are going to do when this show's going to end, but I got to take a piss, so I'm going to go piss.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, do it. So to give our viewers an idea, so we talked about this already. Next week, August 18th, we have Eric from Oak Glen Tobacconists coming back onto the show to talk about relocation and, developing a new shop in the Carolinas.
And his new products. He's doing a lot of products, exclusives.
Exactly. And then August 25th and September 1st, because those are holidays, at least for us. Yeah. We'll have no shows. And then the 300th episode.
300.
Episode number 300. It's kind of hard to get my head around.
You can't find a little thing or what?
So episode 300 of How About That Cigar Live will be September. We will be broadcasting live from in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota. Inver Grove
Heights, you're right.
Yeah. I've had a lot of whiskey.
I think Saka wants to be on the show.
We've had a lot, and that is September 8th.
Yes.
Monday, September 8th, 2025.
Hey, Saka's back.
Yeah, best 60 seconds of my life, gentlemen.
We aim to please. All right, Steve, if you would please give our viewers and listeners an idea. Where is the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust cigars?
Yes, just follow me on Facebook. I say I'm supposed to stupid shit there. It's the only place that I relatively actively post to. So, yeah, if you follow Steve Saka on Facebook, you will pretty much know about everything pretty much before my people even know about it, because they argue with me all. Well, they don't argue. How they learn stuff off Facebook. So
yeah, people are like, hey, you announced this new release on Facebook and you haven't even told the team about it yet. You're like, yeah, and nothing wrong with that.
When we go off air, don't go anywhere. I want to talk to you about something afterwards.
Yeah, after we're off the air. Right. Steve, I want to thank you so much.
What sort of tease is that? Because now people will be like, what are we going to talk about?
It's none of their fucking business.
Yeah, off the air. Nobody. Yeah, we can talk about whatever the fuck we want off the air. Yeah. That's the best part about after the show's over. The after show off the air. Yeah. Because we can talk about anything we want to, and there's no repercussions from advertisers or from the cigar community, any of that. We can just talk about whatever we feel like.
So let's end this shit.
All right. So viewers and listeners, thank you guys so much for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on
Rumble.
And of course, if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, whether you're working out, driving down the road, whatever it is you do when you listen to your favorite audio podcast, thanks for making us a part of it. Be sure to click on all of the big, beautiful buttons. The like button, the follow button, the subscribe button, whatever it is that makes sure that you don't miss anything going on with How About That Cigar Live. We appreciate everything that you guys do for us. And make sure if you guys have questions for any of us, email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. You will find us at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.